familiar with blue and the charmed ones too on Charm Chats.
Hello! And welcome to Charm Chats with Kendra
And Kat.
Yay!
Yay!
We are hitting up episode 302.
Yeah.
Magic Hour.
This one aired on October 12th, 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember that date. Just saying. It'll come into play in a minute.
It will? I don't remember it coming into play.
Well, or more to the fact is it doesn't come into play in the time frame when things should be happening. Yeah. So, Magic Hour, the title of this episode may be a play on Golden Hour, which is actually a photography term.
It could also be a play on Witching Hour.
It could as well. But the term Golden Hour refers to the period shortly after sunrise or shortly before sunset, when the daylight is redder and softer than any other period of the day. I'll, of course, link to the wiki on the website for all that good stuff. It's quite interesting if you like photography stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of fascinating.
I'm sure Colin knows about it.
Yeah. It was an interesting read to learn new things. Right, Blue? Yeah.
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 You good boy? Mm-hmm. Blue is wearing his little security shirt.
It's so cute.
It's so good and cute.
So gosh darn adorable.
I like to put it on him when he's hosting parties. Well, when I'm hosting parties.
Yeah.
Because what's cuter than a dog greeting you at the door that's wearing a shirt that says security? Especially when the dog is very tiny.
Yes. The tiniest of chihuahuas.
Yeah, apparently the CIPYD group has a bunch of tiny dogs with security shirts. Bo's got one. There was another little doggy that has one. Oh, Archie. Yeah, Christian's new dog.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been keeping up with the group.
Okay, well, Christian has Thor.
Okay.
And Thor is like a big pit bull mix. He's like white, mostly white with like little brown spots. And they just got a new puppy whose name is Archie, who's some kind of doxy mix.
Aww.
He's got a very long tail, floppy ears.
That's adorable.
Mostly floppy ears. They're like a little sticky uppy right at the base. And Archie likes to clean Thor and sleep near his butt. It's real cute.
Well, alrighty then.
Mm-hmm. They're BFFs. It's adorable. Yeah, y'all should listen to Can I Pet Your Dog? It's great. Mm-hmm. It's all about dogs.
If you enjoy dogs, you will enjoy that podcast as well. Hashtag not sponsored.
Oh, man, I wish they were sponsoring us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we're getting right into it because we can.
Yeah.
I think that I like the setup that we have now because we don't have to worry about dogs barking or crazy roommates. And
yeah.
Colin is very considerate.
Yes.
And I enjoy him immensely.
He has previously been a part of a podcast, and so he knows about the whole editing stuff.
Yes. And he understands how to be nice to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yes.
Yes. So, the music that we start with on Netflix sounded vaguely like a pop country hybrid. It was weird, but...
So, like, knockoff Taylor Swift?
No, but, like, there was no, like...
Like, third album knockoff Taylor Swift.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Only not as good? I don't know. Which says a lot about
I don't
me.
think her third album was all that good to begin with.
Well, I'm a Swiftie, so, yeah, what can we say?
Well, no, like, because the first one was the one that really sounded country. The second one... Was that Speak Now?
I don't know.
I think Speak Now was either the second or third.
Remember. I enjoy her music, but I'm not, like, insane about it. So.
I haven't even listened to her new album all that much.
I listened to it once. It is definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Anyway, neither Soundhound nor Shazam had any clue what it was. Mm-hmm. But it was very much like a pop country hybrid typey song thing. It was weird. Anyway, we start with a shot of the sun coming through the Golden Gate Bridge, possibly at that golden hour that I just mentioned. It was
Golden Hour? Golden Gate?
Yeah, it was a very, like, red sun. It was pretty, though. And then we see a couple of women reading bridal magazines inside a hair salon while sitting under the dryers.
Those big domey things.
Yeah. So I'm not going to tangent on it, but I'll link to the wiki for hairdresser for anyone who wants to fall down that rabbit hole. Because let me tell you, if I did tangent on it, I could make a whole new podcast about it. It is fascinating, all the shit that hairdressers have done and been, and it's nuts.
I love those hairdryery things, but I'm not like a rich old lady, so I don't do the whole weekly hair appointment to get my hair set or whatever.
Yeah, and you don't dye your hair.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I have spent many a time under
the
one of
Domi
those
things are basically just like the inside is a colander, the outside is a bowl, and they're connected to each other, and the air goes through
over your head.
It goes over your head.
The entirety of your hair is under it, and it blows you dry. And it's quite
usually
nice.
while you have some sort of curler.
Yeah, either curlers or foils, or depending on what you're doing. But yeah, I have spent many, 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 many hours under those dryers because I dye my hair a lot. A lot.
An axolotl?
Sure.
You know what axolotls are, right?
Maybe.
Animal?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, okay. Anyway,
the shot kind of pans / like pulls out to show Piper, who she's
adorable. She's wearing a pink shirt that has bell sleeves, and I love it.
I know, I love this fucking shirt.
So
if the torso were just a bit longer, I'd want it.
Yeah. Well, her hair is down, but we can't see what she has paired it with yet, because we can't see her legs.
And this is the point at which her hair becomes pretty much what it's going to be for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Because, like, she never has bangs from, season 3 on. It's not really spoilers if I talk about hair, is it?
I don't think so.
Like, occasionally she'll do different styles. Like, sometimes she does a center part, but mostly she just does the, like, rake your hands through it kind of swoopy thing.
Yeah, she wears her hair down a lot more than anyone else does. So.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty much her look for the rest of the series.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so she sees the women reading the magazines, and she rolls her eyes, which was just a hilarious moment. And then she picks up a bridal magazine from a table next to her that is covered in different bridal magazines. It's like this salon does nothing but give you bridal magazines.
Yeah, what the fuck is this salon?
Well,
like, why would she go here if she knew this was a thing? Because clearly
she might not have known this was a thing. But
she also doesn't look like she's even gotten her hair done.
No.
Blue agrees.
Indeed. But yeah, I understand the logic for the bridal magazines because a lot of people go to a salon and look at magazines for what they want to do with their hair.
But I don't understand the logic for only bridal magazines.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't really go to salons much anymore. But, like, when I did, there'd always be, like, a few magazines in, like, a rack. And a bunch of them would just literally be hairstyles. That was it. That was all they had in there. It was always really fun to look at because, you get a lot of frosted tips, a lot of the weird frosty streaks. This tells you exactly how long ago
it's been, yeah.
You'd get the fun, cool, spiky lady hairdos, and you'd get the, I don't know, like the weird bouffants on the dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved looking at those, but I'd never want any of those hairstyles.
No. I've been thinking about doing a half shave on my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd actually do it, but I've been thinking about it.
It would cut down on drying time for you.
It would.
Would you do, like, the sides?
Yeah, I believe it or not, I was thinking of doing, like mohawk-y kind of, so that it's high blue. Right
what, like Natalie Dormer in the Hunger Games sequels?
Kind of, but not that...
That was a rad.
Yeah, but not that extreme.
Style.
But I would also be cutting my hair to shoulder length when I do it, so...
Well, so did Natalie Dormer.
If I wanted to, I could actually spike it up. Yeah. I probably never would, because that entails a lot of glue.
Yes, it does.
But I've been thinking about it.
Well, hey.
Get back to my crazy teenage years.
Piper's looking at all these women reading magazines, looking completely fucking exasperated, and she picks up one on this table next to her, and then kind of throws it back down, face down,
yeah,
and gets up to leave, picks up her jacket.
Yeah, looks like a white jacket of some sort.
And then turns back around before she even gets halfway to the door, and grabs it, and then just hightails it out of there.
Yeah, so It's really funny. So she turns around and picks up her jacket. We can now see she's wearing that stupid little diamond necklace again that she wears for the rest of the episode. But, like, it was hilariously funny to me that she stole the magazine from the hairdresser.
I know!
Like, that's just...
And no one noticed.
And no one cared. Like, no one said anything. No one anything.
Mm-hmm.
But so she grabs the magazine, she walks out, and she gets into an elevator.
Yeah,
where there's a man in a suit in the elevator.
And
so this makes me wonder of where the hell this salon is.
It's in some office building or something?
Yeah, like...
That's weird.
It's a little odd, right? Just a titch.
But immediately following her into the elevator are these two women, and we don't really get any audio.
No, but we get the biggest overacting moment
oh my God.
of the series, I want to say. From the extras.
From, maybe.
From the series so far, at least.
So far, yes.
These two women run in and then excitedly show each other their engagement rings. And, like...
There's a blonde and a brunette.
Yeah, and Piper pulls a face and she like kind of looks around like trying to find a way out of the elevator, which was the funniest moment. But like these two women were overacting so much. Like who does that? Where it's like, did you see my ring? And puts their hand like in your face.
Yeah.
And then the other one goes, oh yeah, mine too, and puts their hand in the other one's face. It's just like so much overacting. I hope they got a SAG card from that overacting.
No, because they didn't have any.
No, they didn't have any
lines. No. But anyway, we cut to outside the manor just as Piper is pulling up. We get a little glimpse of Swan Hitch.
Yes, because we pan down from the front door.
And as she's getting out, now wearing her jacket, there's a just married couple driving down the road in a convertible.
Yeah.
And the woman is like sitting on the back seat, letting the wind blow through her veil. And, okay, this style of veil is extremely dated.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like you put your hair up in a bun and then you attach the veil so that, like, some of it is sticking out the back of the bun and the rest of it's going down. Like, it's a really weird fucking style.
Yeah, it was very odd. But, so, she's sitting on the seat, the car is honking, she's waving, and we get our first continuity error of the episode. Because as the car drives by... And we have the long shot. Piper is standing in front of her Jeep, and the driver's side door is behind her and closed. And then when we change angles so that we're on the closer up shot to her, she is standing next to her car in the doorway. Like the door, the driver's side door of her car is open, and she is standing in the door. And then she slams the door shut.
Because fuck this.
Yeah. So it was one of those continuity shots where you're just like, did nobody notice or did nobody care?
I mean, we could say that of all of them.
Yes, but this one especially because it was all of super obvious.
It might be super obvious, but like a lot of them have been fairly obvious.
Yeah, but this one was super obvious.
Yeah. Anyway, we cut to inside the manor. Phoebe and Prue are in the dining room.
Prue is in tan pants and a low-cut pink ombre shirt that's light at the top and darker at the bottom. And it looks like it has a pink scarf attached to it that's that same darker pink color.
And there's also like a fabric loop that goes around her neck.
Yeah, it was very, very odd. You can tell she's not wearing a bra because her chest is on display.
Full display.
Like her boobs are covered, but like the shirt goes down to like halfway down her stomach. Like it was a very low cut shirt. And her hair is down. It looks very pretty. Phoebe is in a spaghetti strap crop top that is covered in colorful little flowers, and her pants are a bit shiny looking. Like at this point, since she hasn't jumped up, we can't really see anything. At first I thought they were pleather, but they're not. They're more like that shiny denim, like plastic denim kind of look.
I don't remember noticing them, but meh.
Well, when she gets up, I'll tell you a little more about what they actually look like.
Cool.
Her hair is pulled up into like a bun with some little blue flowers as decoration.
It's
and I believe
cute.
she keeps her hair that way for like 90% of the episode.
She
I think
does.
all of them are in these outfits for like 90% of the episode.
Pretty
like
much.
I think it's like the last scene, I think they change outfits.
Anyway, Phoebe is doing some sort of craft project that involves like making your own glasses of some sort.
Yeah.
They could be 3D glasses at this point. We don't really know.
Yeah.
But they're talking about something to do with Piper.
Yeah, and the reason that we know that they're talking about Piper is because Phoebe mentions that Prue has known her longer because of all the bonding time before Phoebe was born.
And Prue's like, what do we bond over? Drooling and diapers?
Yeah, so this is where we get our second continuity issue of the episode. So much in quite quick succession. Prue says that when Phoebe was born, that she was 3 and Piper was 1, making the joke that they would have bonded over drooling and diapers. But if we actually go by the dates for when they were all born, Prue would have been 5 and Piper would have been 2 when Phoebe was born. Anyway, that little continuity niggle, you know, just that little moment of this is wrong. Phoebe has finished her craft project, which turns out to be glasses made from yellow paper and red filters. So they're not 3D glasses.
Nope.
And when
because
Prue
one
questions
would be
them,
red and one would be blue.
Yes. When Prue questions her, Phoebe says that they're glasses so they can watch the eclipse. And she made a pair for Prue as well. So,
and I'm thinking, you can watch the eclipse, but you're not going to watch anything after. Not with those.
Not with those, because you don't put a red filter. That's not how that works.
No, it's really not.
No, it's really, really not.
This year there was the
total eclipse.
The total eclipse that was only going to be over continental America. North America, anyway.
America, yeah.
The continental U.S., I should say.
Yes.
And, like, Amazon was selling a bunch of eclipse glasses, and some of them were, like, defective or whatever.
Some of them were fake.
Yes.
It wasn't that they were defective. It's they were fake.
Yeah.
And so there was an article that was put out of, these are the 5 reputable places that you can get them from.
Mm-hmm.
Get them from these 5 places.
Yeah, because the thing about eclipses is that when it's right at totality, sure, you can look at it. But if it's any time before or after, don't. There is too much sunlight coming through there.
Yeah.
Too fucking much. You will blind yourself.
Yeah.
You will cause pretty permanent fucking retinal damage.
And for anyone who says, I looked at the sun when I was a kid and I'm fine. Yeah, the sun as it is in the sky when it's not an eclipse is actually less concentrated than when there is an eclipse. Because what's happening is like it's all being put into this one little thing. It's like you're putting a magnifying glass on an ant, and you're concentrating the sun through it. If it's a cloudy day, you're probably not going to cook that ant.
No.
But if it's not a cloudy day, you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's that
and also
same kind of like
the issue is going to be that you don't normally look up at the sun. Like when you're a kid, you squint and you look up, and then it hurts pretty quick,
eyes hurts,
and then you're done. But like when it's eclipse time, you know there's an eclipse going on, and so you want to look up, and you do it more.
Yeah.
And so you're going to cause more damage that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, people, don't stare at the sun.
Don't do it.
Like, ever.
Just don't do it.
And trust me, regular sunglasses, not going to cut it.
Not even remotely.
Don't layer them either. That doesn't work.
No. When the eclipse that happened 2017, somebody lent me their eclipse glasses so I could look up. Mm-hmm. And it literally takes out everything except the light that's coming from the sun. Mm-hmm. And it was so cool.
It really is.
It was so cool. Like we didn't have totality here in Illinois, but
we got a good sliver though.
Yeah.
It didn't really reduce light because the light doesn't fully. I mean, this is how fucking bright the sun is.
The temperature did go down by about 5 degrees.
Yeah, I know, that was cool.
Yeah.
But like the amount of light coming through doesn't really. There's not a noticeable difference until it becomes like a 4% amount of sliver. So, like, if 96% or more of the light from the sun is blocked, you'll notice. But there's so much light coming through that, it doesn't make much of a difference. Which is why detection of planets is such an infinitesimal thing in stars. Like, when you're watching stars to see if they've got planets or other astronomical orbiting bodies, the percentage change of light is less than 1%, usually. If it's 1%, then it's something the size of Jupiter. Proportionally to the star.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, light.
Interesting.
Light's very interesting. Anyway, let's get back to the show.
Well, let's get back to the tangent I was about to go on.
Oh, okay, right.
Because I am me, I had to look up eclipses, right? Now, reminding you, this episode aired in October.
Yep.
It is supposed to be taking place in October.
Mm-hmm.
In 2000, there were 4 eclipses.
That's not a lot. There's usually a few eclipses a year, somewhere in the world anyway.
Mm-hmm. One of them was in February, 2 of them were in July, and 1 was in December. And all of them were partial eclipses, meaning that there was no moment of totality.
Anywhere on the globe?
Anywhere on the globe.
Okay.
The closest total eclipses to the time of this episode were one in August of 99 and one in June of 2001.
Oops. Well, I mean...
Yeah.
This is one of those things where clearly they're like, the plot's more important than the actual accuracy.
Absolutely. I will, of course, link to the wiki for all
Just
that
like
stuff
all those
on the website.
Friday the 13ths.
Yes. I'll link to the wiki on the website for anyone who wants to check that out. Now, since in North America we just had a total eclipse back in August of 2017, we should all know that the glasses that Phoebe made were not sufficient for looking at this eclipse, but we shall give them creative license in this instance because we never see these glasses again.
No, they are, spoiler alert, never used in the episode.
Yep. She wears them for a second, and then they are gone.
And they look very cute on her.
They are adorable.
She is very adorable.
Yeah. Prue thanks Phoebe for the glasses as Piper walks in, and now we can see that she has paired her pink top with brown pants. They're dark brown, nearly black.
Trousers.
Yeah. They're very fitted, and they look very nice on her.
Anyway, Prue and Phoebe jump up to meet her in the foyer.
And this is where we can see that Phoebe's pants are a dark gray with a red stripe on the side. And they're that, like, shiny denim kind of stuff. And they're cuffed at the knees. They look a little bit like workout pants, but they're, like, super tight on her.
Yeah.
Like...
And a little too stiff for workout pants.
Well, but they look like them because of the racing stripe on the side, you know?
Anyway, they ask Piper to settle something for them. And Piper's like, great. An opportunity for me to get my mind off of weddings. And they both kind of do that thing where they look down and away. And they're like, never mind.
Yeah. But so after that moment of hesitation, they ask which of them is going to be her maid of honor.
And she gets a little miffed because she's like, what makes you think I'm going to even be able to have one of those? I can't talk about this whole thing.
Yeah.
She's clearly very frustrated by
she's not allowed to have like anything
situation.
Wedding related at all. So, you know, they chat about all of the cliche wedding stuff. They head into the living room. And Prue reminds her that while she might not be getting a dream wedding, she's at least getting her dream guy.
And that's Leo's cue.
Yeah. Piper sighs as he orbs in.
He orbs in on the landing up the steps. Mm-hmm. And
he's in a gray shirt under a gray flannel and greenish-gray cargo pants. And then we get my favorite moment.
I know, it's great.
In this scene, at least.
Phoebe, who's sitting like on the table or something, looks up and yells, Leo! And then he goes, shh. And she goes, Leo.
It was super cute. My favorite thing ever.
Oh my God,
yeah. It's like, oh, okay. And it was the fact that it was Phoebe that did it. And that's just, I love the relationship between Phoebe and Leo because it's just that like super cute, like they're kind of siblings.
Yeah.
In that like little moment. Right, Blue?
Right, Blue?
Yeah, Blue doesn't care. Anyway, he says that he has bad news, and he tells Piper that they have until the next night to give them, meaning his bosses, an answer. Either they're not a thing, or the girls get a new white lighter.
Piper is, of course, not happy, and Leo informs her that there's a third option.
Yeah, if they can pull off a wedding before the time is up, then they can't be broken apart.
And Piper reminds Leo that, you know, if they find out, they can break us apart into 1,000 little pieces.
Yes.
As she puts it.
Phoebe questions that, and Piper says, quote, I believe the term you used was unspeakable wrath, the likes of which you can't even imagine.
Which naturally makes her sisters look at each other very worriedly.
Yeah.
And Leo tells them that because they are probably listening in to everything.
Very closely.
At least far enough to know whether or not the W word will be used. W word meaning wedding.
Yep.
They can't use that word until the time is up. And he tells them, you know, speak in code or whatever.
Yeah. So we're going to fast track the scene just a titch. Prue wonders how they're going to hide anything. She asks Phoebe if she found anything in the Book of Shadows about how to hide it, and she hasn't. Leo tells him to speak in code, be extra careful, and avoid using certain words.
Piper tells him that he should probably go, and they move in for a kiss, but then stop because
they shouldn't do that. Yeah. And he orbs out, and Prue gets up and hugs Piper and wonders why they want all of them to be so very, very alone. Mm-hmm. And then we hear a cat growling outside.
Like,
hey, look.
Yowling.
Hey, look. Kit's back.
Kit the cat.
Yeah. So we cut over to the porch, where Kit is looking like she's trying to attack an owl.
Green screen Kit, mind you.
green screen kit and green screen owl.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
And they're not on the same green screen.
No, they're not.
Because the lighting is just that little bit off.
I know.
Every time with these green screens.
And it's great because we keep cutting to a shot of when they open the door, the girl's legs and the cat and the owl, and then up to their faces. And whenever you see their faces, like, there's a bit where Phoebe is pointing, and she's pointing in a completely different direction from where the cat actually is on the porch.
Yeah.
When we cut back down.
Yeah.
But yeah, Piper yells at the cat to leave the owl alone, and Phoebe yells "Bad kitty," and she does the point, the weird, like, eyeline wrong point.
Yeah. And then we get some, like, weird glowy white light things surrounding the owl.
And he morphs into a crouching naked man.
Which prompts a "good kitty" from Prue.
And Piper kind of, like, covers her eyes and looks away.
It
and
was so cute.
The only thing Phoebe does, she stares for a second and then raises one eyebrow.
Yeah.
It was very subtle.
It was very subtle.
Which Phoebe normally isn't.
Yeah. It was super cute. But it also goes to show that, like, she already has somebody on her mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so Prue with the good kitty.
Yeah, she's kind of taken over the hot for teacher aspect.
Yeah. A little bit.
No, boy crazy. The boy crazy aspect.
Yeah.
Phoebe is hot for teacher, except she's hot for lawyer. So.
Yeah. And we go to our opening credits. And so the post-credit song on Netflix was something electronic and instrumental, which, according to Shazam,
Hashtag not sponsored,
was a song called Pizza Guy by a group called Touch Sensitive. Now,
Pizza Guy.
Yeah, you might imagine how hard it would be to find out any sort of information on a group like that, so I couldn't.
I love it.
Yeah. But the group is called Touch Sensitive. The song is called Pizza Guy. There's no words at all. It was just an electronica kind of instrumental song. And I'm going to be honest, I did not check to see if the DVD had anything, because I was doing these notes yesterday.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. We'll eventually get back to checking the DVD, and I have the DVDs here, so now that I've finally organized my DVD collection.
I'm very proud of you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Got a new bookshelf and everything.
Yeah. Because I've been watching on Netflix, and because of the holidays, timing for doing my notes has become very compressed. Mm-hmm. And it will be for the next few weeks. So, the first few episodes of this lovely podcast of ours, Season 3, are going to be a little more rushed. And I apologize for that, but it's literally the only way that I can keep my sanity. And we all know my sanity comes first.
Yes.
Like, I love this podcast. I love our listeners because they are all amazing people. And we appreciate you all. But if I don't continue to keep my sanity, then this podcast goes away, and none of us want that.
No.
So
I'd miss you.
I'd miss you as well. So, on that note, we get a night shot of cars going over the Oakland Bay Bridge that pans over to show us the buildings, so we get that glimpse of the Triangle Building, before we push into an exterior shot of the manor that pans up through that tree with no leaves.
Yep.
In the room, Naked Guy is wrapping himself in a blue towel as the girls are standing nearby. And while Naked Man doesn't have a name yet, I might as well tell you a bit about the actor, right?
Yep.
His name is Michael Dietz. He was born in 1971. He started acting in 1996, and he stopped in 2007. He was on a few episodes of the original Beverly Hills 90210, so he probably already knew Shannon. And his longest run was a 64-episode gig on the soap opera The Bold and the Beautiful.
Wow, that's enough to have, like, an affair.
Mm-hmm. He ended his acting career with a 7-episode run on the soap opera Passions, which is the one where Timmy fell down the well. Remember, Buffy?
Oh.
Spike used to watch Passions.
Okay, yeah.
It's literally the only reason
God.
I know.
My friend Joseph has been watching Buffy, and he just got to Once More with Feeling.
Nice.
Uh-huh. And he's very glad that he did not watch that originally before getting through everything else, because he's like, it means a lot more now.
Yep.
And,
nice.
Oh my God, we're gonna... Oh, I wish he was going to be on boat this year. Because last year we did a Buffy sing-along and a Dr. Horrible sing-along. And he was there for it last year, but he had no idea what was going on. Mm. But it would mean so much more, and he can't go this year. I'm so sad.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go either, and I'm sad. Anyway, in 2007, he finished his acting career and started working as a producer.
Woo!
So that's what he's doing now, is he is a producer.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's all I know. Back to the show.
Completely formless job title. It's like consultant.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like no one knows what they do. They produce.
They do
They
stuff.
consult.
But yeah, just they have a title. That's about it.
Anyway.
So there's a bit of verbal ping pong, as Piper puts it, where they're all trying to figure out if they're going to help this guy or fight him. He wonders why none of them are scared of him or what happened. Prue says if he's not there to kill them, then they're meant to help him.
Mm-hmm. And he tells them that the only way to help him is to let him leave.
And we are treated with a POV from outside that seems to be from the wolf that we see lurking in the bushes.
And it's like a yellow filter.
It was like a reddish, orangish, yellowish filter. It was a weird filter.
Like bronze.
Yeah.
It was like a bronze filter.
Yeah, like sepia, but like
extra.
More,
like really saturated sepia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get a bit of exposition where we learn that this dude's boss put some sort of curse on him and all he wants is revenge.
But he's not really giving out all that much information about it.
He doesn't even give them his name, at least.
No.
Not that we know, because we don't
heard.
find his name out for a very long time in this episode.
Mm-hmm. And he tells them that he only has 12 hours until sunrise before he gets stuck as an owl again, and he needs to kill the person who did this to him.
Right.
And I'm just like, yeah, 12 hours would be in October.
Yeah, well, 12 hours in a day, I kind of get it.
Well, I mean, if it's supposed to be from sunrise to sunset, like, that changes based on what season you're in.
Yeah.
And sure, yeah, like, September, October area, you'd probably get 12 hours in an actual night.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I do have to mention at this time that owls are nocturnal.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's been cursed to be an owl during the day makes this even more cruel than you'd think at first.
I know.
Because the whole point of this curse is you're an owl, which means you should be sleeping during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're a human at night.
When you should be sleeping.
But and nothing is open. And, you know.
Yeah.
So there's many layers to this.
Very much.
Thing. Prue asks for 30 seconds of his time so that she and her sisters can huddle.
Piper directs him over to a basket full of Leo's clothes.
Mm-hmm. Which also apparently include a pair of shoes for some reason. And they turn their backs on him to let him dress.
So they huddle for a few seconds, and they verbally say, let's get him before he dashes. And when they turn around, he has dashed.
Indeed. The side door is open. He is gone. And Piper's like, oops, he's gone. Oh, well.
We're done.
Yeah. So she basically wants to forget about him so that they can concentrate on the rutabaga, which is the code word that she settles on in that moment because she can't say the W word of wedding.
And it's really funny because Phoebe gets this immediately, but Prue has to be kind of led by the hand a little bit, and Piper kind of like angrily hums the bridal march at her.
Yeah. Which was a lovely little callback to Leo humming the bridal march at Piper to get her to understand. It was cute. So I'm not going to tangent on it, but a rutabaga is a root vegetable that is a cross between a cabbage and a turnip. It's actually quite yummy. I'll link to
I don't know that I've had them.
I've had them.
I've had parsnips. I'm not a huge fan of parsnips.
I've had a rutabaga with like mashed potato typey.
I should try it. Next time I see a rutabaga at the grocery store, I'll think I'll get one.
Yeah. I will, of course, link to the wiki for anyone who wants to know more, because you'd be surprised how fascinating it is to read about a rutabaga.
For pretty much all of my childhood, I thought a rutabaga was not a real thing.
Like a narwhal?
No, narwhals are real.
Are they? Are they, though?
Yeah. Yeah, they're swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion, because they are so awesome.
Sorry, if anyone watches Super Carlin Brothers, you will understand the narwhal thing.
But anyway, no, I legitimately thought it was just a fake thing. Like, I thought it was a mythical vegetable or something. I don't know.
You had an odd childhood.
I don't know. I thought it was like... I also thought Timbuktu wasn't a real place. Yeah, because people kept using it in place of, like, somewhere far away.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was, like, Atlantis or something. I don't know.
Hey, you know, sure, why not? Anyway, Prue says that she'll check the Book of Shadows and then try to scry using the owl feather that Kit is playing with. And I was wondering, should this count toward the scrying total, or are we only counting the scrying when we see it being done?
Door number 2.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, Prue tells Piper and Phoebe to figure out the rutabaga problem, and Piper walks into the foyer.
Phoebe wonders if she should help Prue instead, because she's not so sure that she thinks that they should help Piper break the rules. But she eventually heads off with Piper. It was a little bit odd since we started this episode with them wanting to be maid of honor, but I think that whole unspeakable wrath thing got her a little spooked.
I think, yeah. I think
just a
not
titch.
knowing what the consequences would be, just that they didn't approve.
Yeah.
It was fine. But yeah, Phoebe's really worried about blowback.
Yeah.
As we find out later in the episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, we jump to a little while later inside some bookstore. It could be Barnes & Noble. It could be a Borders.
It might have been. To be completely honest, it might have been a Borders. I'll, of course, link to the wiki because I'm me.
Yes.
But, so Piper and Phoebe are standing in line holding some books. And Phoebe has now added a red leather jacket to her outfit, which I think we've seen her in before.
Probably.
At some point, it vaguely looked familiar.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, Phoebe is holding what seems to be a copy of the 1964 Shel Silverstein book, The Giving Tree.
Yeah.
Great book. Y'all should own it.
Yeah, here's where I shall tangent on this book. So, there's apparently a bit of controversy over this book, which I've always been confused by, mostly because I've never actually read it. But apparently, some people think the relationship in the book, which is between a boy and a tree, and the boy grows up and the tree gets older.
And becomes stuff.
Yeah. But the boy is called boy throughout the entire book.
Yeah.
So it's a boy and a tree. Some people think that the relationship is a positive one because the tree gives the boy selfless love. Whatever the boy wants, the tree gives. Other people think that the boy and the tree have an abusive relationship. Now, after reading the plot summary on Wiki, which I will absolutely link to for anyone who has never read the book and would like to at least read the plot summary, I can see how people would have such polar opposite views on the story. I don't know if it's possible to have an abusive relationship with a tree.
The tree
because
is
they're
kind
basically
of
saying that the boy is being abusive to the tree.
Okay. So, like, the tree in the book is sentient. Like, it's actually fucking sentient. It talks to the kid.
Okay.
And it tells the kid, I think at some points the kid comes and talks to the tree and complains about stuff, and the tree's like, well, here, I can help you with that. Take this from me. And that's pretty much the extent of their relationship.
Okay.
And, you know what, fuck it, I'll spoil the book. It's from 1964, who the fuck cares? At the end, the tree is a stump.
Right.
Because he's taken everything. He took the trunk to, like, build something. He took all the leaves. He took the branches. He's taken everything except the stump.
Right.
And he comes back as a very old man, and he sits on the stump, and the tree is very happy because the boy still needs her. The tree is listed as female, by the way.
Which, I mean, it makes sense because it's an apple tree.
I don't know that that's the reasoning, but there is a weird undertone of, like, coercive misogyny.
Well, I think that's where the abusive relationship thing comes into play.
And I do get that. I like the book because, I don't know, tree happy, but, like, I can accept that other people are, like, reading this and thinking, is this telling women that they need to literally, like,
give everything of themselves to a man?
themselves to dude, to be used by dude?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I personally enjoy the book, but I'm not going to tell anyone else how to enjoy stuff.
Yeah. And like I said, I've never actually read it. All I've read is the wiki summary, so that's the only information that I have to go by.
Well, next time you're in a bookstore, look it up. It takes, like, 5 minutes to read.
Yeah.
Tops.
Next time I go to my library, I'll see if they have it.
There you go.
Yeah. Because support your local library.
Indeed.
Before they disappear.
Yes.
And we all cry because...
But yeah.
Anyway.
Kat's gonna link to the wiki on the website.
Yes, absolutely.
She does that.
Because I'm weird like that, you know.
Yeah, and it'd be cool if people wanted to maybe have a discussion about this.
Yes, tweet at me, email me, give me a thing. I would love to hear other people's opinions on the book The Giving Tree, which has nothing to do with Charmed, other than the fact that Phoebe is holding a copy of it.
Yep.
But I would absolutely love to hear what other people have to say about it, because I love discussions.
Yes.
It's fun.
Anyway, back to the show.
Back to the show. Phoebe wonders how Martha Stewart is going to help them. I'm not going to tangent on her. Been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piper says that if Phoebe didn't think that she should have a rutabaga, that she should have said so earlier.
And just then, Cole walks up to them.
Yeah.
And he's you know, wearing his typical, like, suit and trench coat combo.
Yeah. It's there's a bit of awkwardness as Phoebe gets flustered and Piper gets introduced to him and Cole jokes about him being followed and Piper mentions cheesy pickup lines.
Yeah. And Cole tells them that he's there getting books for a case and Phoebe kind of points at his empty hands and she's like, really now? And as
Piper is annoyed by the flirting.
And right then, an employee comes up and hands him a bunch of the books on the exact topic he mentioned that he was looking for to them.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like...
On the nose?
It's a bit on the nose. Not really a la convenience, because it was, a thing he actually did. But, yeah, bit too on the nose.
Yeah, it was a bit pointed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, they walk up to the counter, and they all set their books down, and I guess there's 2 cashiers working at the same time.
Yeah. And so here's how do I put this so this makes sense? This scene is very weird to me because if you think about this scene as people going into a bookstore, there are things that don't happen that should and things that happen that wouldn't.
Yes. First of all, he cuts in line.
He cuts in line. They all go up and they take over 2 cashiers. Nobody talks to the cashier. They just put their books down. And they end the scene by them having their books in bags, and they just walk away. Nobody, we kind of see...
There's no money changing hands.
Well, we kind of see Cole take out cash.
Yeah.
And hand over cash, but we don't see Piper do that. And we don't see either of them get any change back.
Nope.
This scene just is weird.
It's a bit weird.
It's a bit weird, and it's literally an a la convenience scene for a moment that will come later.
Uh-huh.
But so Cole sees that Piper has put down these books, noticing that they're wedding themed, asks, what did he ask? Who's the lucky guy? Or better, who's the lucky sister?
Yeah. I'm like, who's the heteronormative ass?
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
Piper starts to say
gotta think
me,
of times.
and then she just completes it by saying Mimi.
Mimi. And
there's
her cousin Mimi. Yeah.
Anyway, the bookstore employees bag up Piper's books into one bag and Cole's into another, and they're sitting...
And the bags say, books, 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 in all caps written on it. It was hilarious.
It's so they didn't have to name a bookstore.
Yeah, it was very funny.
But
Even
anyway,
better, the name of the bookstore is supposed to be Books, Books, Books,
Or that, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, while the girls are distracted, Cole kind of leans backward of the counter and waves his fingers, and we see a glow come from first one bag, then the other.
Yeah,
and we're to intuit that the books have been switched.
Yeah. But I just love how he just kind of wiggled his fingers and made it happen. How is that a power that he's got?
I don't know.
It's weird. His powers are odd.
His powers never really get nailed down.
Yeah, it's like he has a mishmash of all sorts of shit that he uses.
Yeah.
Whatever needs to be used, that's the power he gets at that moment. And it's very odd. Whatever. There's a bit more flirting before Piper grabs the bag with Cole's books in it, which she thinks is hers because it was the one in front of her. And then Phoebe follows, and Cole pulls out Piper's books, and he looks at the covers, and they're called How to Keep Your Marriage Hush Hush and The Secret of Eloping.
They're not real books.
I checked. Yeah. Because I'm me. And of course I checked. But it was one of those where I looked at those books and went, why are those books? Why?
Because there's self-help books for literally
hush, hush.
every topic.
There really are.
And a lot of them are extremely ego-stroking, and a lot of them are made to just make money.
Yes. The making money thing is a big thing.
There's a reason that there's a stereotype for the kind of person who gets self-help books.
Yeah.
Self-help books often aren't actually all that helpful.
No,
which is unfortunate.
They're usually degrading.
Mm-hmm.
And
when they're not ego-stroking, they're degrading.
Yeah. And
or they're just fucking obvious.
Yeah. A lot of it is common sense, but the issue that I have with a lot of self-help books that are common sense is it makes you sad because you realize that most people who go looking for self-help books don't know the common sense things.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that they're getting that from a book, thank you, Blue, it's sad in a way. Exactly. It's sad in a way. I don't begrudge people who think they need self-help books.
Uh-huh.
Because anyone asking for help deserves to get help. And anyone who is brave enough to ask for help deserves to get help. So that's not my issue. It's the self-help books that are out there that are literally only exist to prey on those people.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I have an issue with.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
we cut to an exterior night shot of some white building with 2 windows lit up and a full moon behind it.
yeah, and so the way that this image is, when they kind of pan to the building, there's a street lamp, because it's kind of like looking up at the building. There's a street lamp on the right hand side of the building, and the full moon is to the left of the building.
Yes.
Okay, just remember that for future, because it'll come up.
Oh, for future.
Yeah. So inside, there's a wave of a hand as a door opens, and 2 men in suits walk in. The first one, in a dark gray suit with a red shirt and tie, is totally a that guy.
Oh, yeah.
As he has been in enough stuff that you recognize him, but you never really know his name. The actor is Eric Passoja. I'm not exactly sure if the J is... It's Passoja. So Passoja. I'm not sure exactly. Passoja. It might be.
Okay, so is he the assistant?
No.
Okay, great.
No.
I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. No, he's the red shirt dude. He is the boss man. He technically started acting in 1998, but his first role on IMDb says it was uncredited. So there's that. This episode of Charmed was his 3rd credited gig, and his 4th gig overall.
And I think he does a really good job on this.
It's not bad. Since then, he has done a lot of single episodes of shows, including an episode of the 90210 reboot. But where I recognize him from was a couple of episodes of True Blood and an episode of Criminal Minds.
Which episode was that?
The Black Queen from 2014. He played Sam Russell.
That was a good episode.
Anyway, so Eric is still acting. He was most recently on an episode of NCIS New Orleans. So
and he's
that
very
might
good
be...
at playing a creepy dude.
He really, really is. The other dude is in a black suit with a gray shirt and tie. Looks to be a guy named Billy Ray Gallion. He started acting in 1999. This was his 4th gig. He's still acting, but he has no picture on IMDb.
And his hairstyle right here, he's got like a soul patch.
Yeah.
And his hair is kind of thin, and he's got bangs, and it's all kind of plastered down against his forehead.
Yeah.
Like, they're really short bangs, and they're kind of spaced out. But that was a hairstyle that kept happening in the early aughts and late 90s.
Yeah, it was not a good look.
No, it's not a good
on
look for
anyone.
No.
Yeah, not so much.
No. But anyway, they're talking about making a killing playing the stock market. And apparently the boss dude has been using magic, which is making this a whole lot less challenging. And we get the idea that they're both like demons or warlocks or whatever.
Yeah, and this is where we learn that our that guy is the boss that the Naked Owl guy was talking about. So apparently, Owl Dude, Naked Man, has been stuck as an owl during the day for the past 2 months.
Along with someone else.
Yeah.
We do not get specified yet. He just keeps saying they.
Right, and we find that the boss man seems to want the same woman that our owl dude wants, and he's annoyed that turning the dude into an owl during the day hasn't broken them. So that's all we know at this point.
Cursing them hasn't broken them. We don't
know what's happened to the girl.
Correct.
We just know that the curse hasn't broken them. And it's a little vague at this point. The assistant dude disappears in a puff of smoke.
A puff of black smoke.
Yep. Just before Owl Guy appears behind the boss, he is wearing a white gingham shirt that's too big on him because it's supposed to be Leo's.
Yeah.
I believe he paired it with jeans and the shoes, which again makes me wonder, how many pairs of shoes does Leo own? Because they look like the same pair of shoes that Leo is wearing later in the episode. Just saying.
Who knows?
It's a little weird. Anyway.
I mean, guys are allowed to have multiple pairs of shoes.
No, I get that.
You should see how many Colin has.
Well, Colin is a special person.
Colin is a clothes horse.
Yeah. Anyway, so he holds a knife up to the dude's chest.
Like a kitchen knife.
Yeah, it's like a chef knife. It's a very large knife.
And Boss Man is kind of amused, and we finally learn that the owl's name is Christopher.
Yep.
And there's some back and forth where he threatens the boss, and the boss is like, "What? Killing me will only make your curse permanent."
Yeah.
And then assistant guy shows up in a puff of black smoke holding a crossbow, and he's like, "You called?"
Yeah. So the boss man says that the only way the curse ends is, quote, "if she gives herself to me," unquote. And then the assistant shoots the crossbow, and Chris jumps out of the way, and he runs out the door on the balcony.
Because apparently having a bird's eye view gives him different tactics.
Yeah.
I don't get how that allows him to know how to climb a building.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because he can't transform at will.
No. Yeah, it was a little weird as to how he got up to the balcony that way. Because we can tell that this guy is high up in the office if we were going by where the light in the window. We can also tell from the building picture that they showed us that there was no balcony.
Nope.
On this side of the building.
Nope.
So, just saying.
Yep. But anyway, boss is getting pissed at the assistant, and he tells him if he can't find him by sunrise, to kill literally every owl he sees.
Yep, because that's a thing, reminding you that owls are nocturnal.
Mm-hmm.
And so you should really be looking for the one owl who's, not being nocturnal.
Yep.
Just saying. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we cut over to the attic at the manor with no exterior shot. Prue is looking through the Book of Shadows as Piper and Phoebe walk in. And Piper walks over to the Book of Shadows. She starts flipping the pages. And we learn that Prue has had no luck scrying with the feather because he's human at the moment, so it isn't working.
Mm-hmm. Piper says that she found something in the book about the rutabaga and then grabs a tiny blackboard.
That is there, a la convenience.
It's a weird size of tiny blackboard, too, because it's not like the little one-room schoolhouse, like, little chalkboard thingies. Like, those are very small. This is, like 3 times as big, but it's not like a giant fucking blackboard.
Yeah.
And it's not on an easel, so, I don't know, it's a weird size. But she goes and writes down the word hand fasting on it, and turns it around to show it to Phoebe and Prue, and they have to stop Phoebe from saying it out loud, which is really cute.
Yeah. So, hand fasting was used in England in the Middle Ages, basically as a way to show that you were serious about wanting to marry someone. Mm-hmm. And then usually a church wedding would follow at a later date. There's a lot much more than that.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a commitment ceremony before the public ceremony.
Right. It's basically I want to be married to you. I don't want you to be...
Formalized engagement.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's I want to be with you. We perform a hand fasting, and then nobody else can have you because you are mine.
Yeah.
We'll do this legally in 3 weeks when the weather's better.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Because
England, as you may know, is quite rainy. I mean, it's a stunning turn of events when you open the door and it's raining.
Indeed.
As John Green says.
Yes. But so there's a lot more to it than that. So, of course, I will link to the wiki for anyone who wants to read about hand fasting. It is still used today in a lot of pagan religions, but it's not a legally binding thing. It's more of a spiritual way of saying that you want to be with this person in a marriage.
Because it doesn't require filing a marriage license.
Exactly. So it can also be used by people who are polyamorous because it's not legally binding, so they can be hand fasted to more than one person. Anyway, so the book says that the hand fasting is best performed at the time of sunrise or sunset. Golden hour, when both the moon and the sun are present.
Gee, I wonder when both the sun and moon will be present in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we learned that since they would need a high priestess to perform it, and they don't have one, Phoebe didn't think it was worth mentioning.
Which, makes sense if you think about it from Phoebe's perspective. Of, well, we need this thing, we don't have this thing, why would I bring this up and make it confusing or make it give you hope that you won't have?
Yeah, and since the whole point of eloping is to hide it from them...
Right.
Phoebe writes unspeakable wrath on the little blackboard, and she's like, this is what we want to avoid.
And Piper's like, I think you can say those words. And Phoebe, the best moment, Phoebe goes, I was hoping that writing them down would help us remember them. And she does this, like hand motion where she, circles the words with her hand.
Yes, she's learned this from studying, because don't you know she's in college?
Indeed. It was very funny. It was really cute. I enjoyed it immensely. So, Phoebe goes on to say that Piper might be being a bit selfish with her rutabaga.
And not sharing it with the class, because she's in college.
Because it might be keeping them from being able to save innocent people.
Yeah.
Because if they find out,
Yes, they could disrupt their lives and make it difficult for them to continue living said lives.
Yeah.
And Piper, makes a good point. She's like, why am I not ever allowed to be selfish about this one thing?
Yeah. Why can't I have that little moment of selfishness?
Yeah, she tells them that she's been through more pain in the past 2 years than she could ever have imagined.
Yep. And she closes the Book of Shadows, and the owl feather falls to the floor. Phoebe picks it up and has a premonition of Chris in some trees and a barking wolf.
Like a growling, barking wolf. A snarling wolf. That's the word.
There you go. Yeah. She tells her sisters what she saw, saying that he was being attacked by the wolf.
And it's really interesting because the visual we get, that's not a wolf. That's a coyote.
Well,
no, the video of the snarling animal looks more like a coyote than a wolf.
It looked like a husky.
No, it later looks like a husky with a bunch of dirt on its face. That thing right there,
Okay,
that looked like a coyote.
Okay.
To me, at least. I could be wrong, but it looked like a coyote to me. But anyway, we jump to a little while later, and we get a nice shot of the full moon low in the sky over some trees and some water.
Yeah, it was a lovely full moon. It was very, very pretty. Mm-hmm. And we see the girls in a forest looking for Chris. They're walking downhill over some crunching leaves, because that's how you know it's October.
And there's like a filter over the lens, and light is slanting in at an angle.
Yep. And none of them are wearing jackets, even though it's nighttime in October.
But in San Francisco.
But still, they were wearing jackets during the day.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah. Anyway, they've apparently been looking for at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
And they haven't found him.
Apparently, though, they did learn his name at some point. So he must have told them when we weren't in on it.
Yeah. So we get a wolfy POV, and we see the wolf in the bushes. And then the girls see Chris walking, and they call out to him, and then they fall backwards on the ground as the wolf comes out and does the whole snarling, barking thing at them, just like it was seen in Phoebe's vision.
Mm-hmm. And then Chris
like,
yells out, like, no, and the wolf turns around and kind of trots on over to him.
Yeah.
Like, not runs, it just kind of trots.
Yeah. Phoebe tells Piper to freeze him, which I'm not sure whether she was meaning to freeze Chris or to freeze the wolf.
I think she meant the wolf.
I think she meant the wolf as well.
Because they call the wolf a him again.
Yeah. So she tells Piper to freeze him, but we hear Chris talking to the wolf and saying something like, my love.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming, my love, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Prue realizes that the wolf isn't attacking. And then Chris and the wolf head into a house that's just off screen.
No. They head into a shack.
Well,
it's a shack.
It's like a ramshackle cabin.
Yes, and what's in the middle of that first word? Shack. It's a fucking clapboard shack.
Yeah, it was definitely...
There's light slanting through, like, the spaces in the boards. It's a shack.
Yeah.
Like, mansion, apartment, this is a shack. It's not a house.
Yes, nobody's playing MASH. Anyway.
I'm always playing MASH in my head. Thank you very much.
It is very much like a hunting cabin that has been abandoned for a very long time.
A hunting shack.
Okay. Anyway,
when we're inside the shack, we can now see that Chris not only took a shirt from Leo's clothes, but some jeans and a pair of shoes.
Right, so this is where we see his full outfit.
He kneels down in front of the wolf, and we get a shot of the wolf, and it's very clearly a husky that has been dirtied up.
Yeah, it very, very much was not a wolf. And
it was a very cute husky, too.
It was so adorable. I will link, because we've mentioned coyotes and wolves and huskies, I will link to all of those because I'm weird.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're all related.
And, it's a thing. So, the girls make their way to the door, and then we get an insert shot of the sun rising big and red behind some trees.
Yeah.
When just 10 seconds ago, we had a full moon still up there in the sky.
Well, I mean, the moon and the sun are going to be pretty close to each other today anyway.
I get that. I do. It's just the timing of this episode.
I know.
The timing is just wonky as shit in this episode.
Yeah.
Everything either lasts way longer than it should or is way faster than it should be. It's super weird. There will be more of that coming up. Anyway,
as the sun comes in through the slats in the shack and it hits the wolf, we get this shot of like an eye, like the wolf's eye, and it morphs into like a human female eye.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a shot from behind her where she kind of anamorphs into a like crouching woman.
Yeah, a lovely naked woman.
And a second later, we get the same shot of the eye where Chris's eye turns into an owl's eye.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see the owl sitting there.
Yeah. So they have like a split second where they're both human.
Yeah.
Just a split second. And then owl flies away and the naked girl looks sad, and we see the girls looking in from outside through the screen door, and we go to commercial break. Because of course we do. So she doesn't have a name yet, but our naked woman is played by Elizabeth Harnois. Harnois.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was going to say it
like
wrong.
Like Renoir, but hard.
I knew I was going to say it wrong, and I was like, fuck. I tried so hard not to.
Harnois. You almost got there.
Yeah.
It's better than you usually do.
Yeah, I practiced.
Good.
Elizabeth Harnois.
Mm-hmm.
She was born in 1979. She started acting in 1985, and she is still growing strong. I instantly recognized her from her time on CSI, but I actually remember
She was also
her
on an episode of Criminal Minds where she was playing a pair of twins.
Okay. But I actually remember her.
I know, right?
From a show, little show, kid show, part musical, weird fucking show called Adventures in Wonderland, where she played Alice. Now, I believe that I have found a YouTube playlist for anyone who wants to watch at least the first episode of the show.
I think I might vaguely remember that because I was just looking at her IMDb before we started, and I remember her too well from too few things that there's got to be something else I'm missing, and maybe that's the one that I'm missing.
That could very well be.
Because my brain slotted her into the category of Disney movie actresses.
Oh,
like Disney Channel movie.
Yeah,
sorry, Disney Channel movie, not Disney movie.
Yeah, no, that would make sense.
Two very different things.
Very different things. But that would make sense because this
Princess
was
Protection Program, Disney Channel. Princess Diaries, Disney.
There you go. Anyway, the funniest reason that I remember Alice in Wonderland is because I believe it was like 1992 to 1995, I think, is when that aired. So I was like 12. The Queen was played by a lovely black woman who had an amazing singing voice.
Oh. Wait, who was it?
It's not a clue.
Because you say, lovely black woman, amazing singing voice.
My brain it's not Audrey McDonald.
Fuck.
No.
I know where I was going.
know where your brain went, but no, it was not her. And Tweedledum and Tweedledee were also played by two lovely black guys who looked vaguely enough similar that they could have been brothers. They probably weren't, but they could have been.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the cast was white. And it was just one of those where I remember like looking up the YouTube videos trying to find the thing, and everyone in the comments going, there were black people on TV?
What the fuck?
In predominant roles? And I'm like, yeah, it happens every once in a while. They needed singers, they needed dancers, they found the people who could do it.
Okay, you scared Blue into waking up.
I'm sorry, Blue.
Anyway, the other thing we both remember her from is this little movie called 10-Inch Hero, which y'all should watch.
Yeah, everyone should see it at some point in their lives. It was a crazy nutso movie.
Because the actors in this, other than Elizabeth, Jensen Ackles of Supernatural fame.
Yeah.
And his wife, Danielle Harris.
Yeah.
Now Danielle Ackles.
Yes. They started dating shortly after making that movie.
Yeah, they met on the set of that.
They
didn't meet on the set of that movie.
They were actually friends before that, and neither of them knew they had been cast in the movie until first day of shooting.
Oh, that's cute.
So, I mean, that's super cute.
It's a cute movie, and Jensen is like a total punk rock dude.
He has a short green mohawk, and it makes me smile every time I think about it, because apparently they were going to put extensions in his hair so they could make him mohawk like a foot tall, and his hair happened to grow long enough before they started shooting that they didn't have to give him extensions.
That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wears like a lot of irreverent shirts, and does he wear a kilt at one point?
I honestly don't remember. I think so, but I don't remember. But, like, if you go onto the IMDb for it, which I will totally probably link to because I'm weird and I'm me, you can see in the trivia all of the little phrases that he wore on shirts during the movie. It's hilarious.
It's great.
Great. Anyway.
We come back from commercial by panning down onto the house in the woods. The shack in the woods.
Yeah, through some trees. And the sun is now fully in the sky. Because of reasons.
Yeah.
The naked girl is now dressed in a long white V-neck dress that is V-neck in both front and back. It's fitted at the boobs and the stomach. It shows off how very, very thin she is. And she is holding a blue sweater. She runs out of the building.
Shack.
Yeah. The girls follow her.
Her love shack. Yeah. Baby, love shack.
Yes. Tin roof rusted. Okay. She runs out. The girls follow her, yelling that they know Chris.
And
which
she
makes
kind
her
of
stop and turn around.
And we find out Prue was bluffing when she said that Chris asked them to talk to her.
We get the exposition portion of the show.
Finally.
Where the girls learn...
halfway fucking through.
Where the girls learn that Chris's boss fell in love with her, and since Chris went after him, now he's going to send someone after them.
And it's very topical right now. Like, we're going through kind of a period where all these, like, people are being revealed to be serial sexual harassers.
Yeah.
Or more.
True.
And so, just the storyline of, like, her boss is making moves on her and she tells him to stop and he's not happy with that, so he does something.
Yeah.
It's very topical.
It is.
Unfortunately.
We also learned that she was cursed to be a wolf all night because she didn't love him back. And so, of course, she's not sure that she can trust these girls. And, because they just happen to show up. How do I know you're not working with them or whatever? The owl flies past them, which she takes as a warning. And they all take off running. And the assistant dude shows up in a puff of black smoke doing a somersault in the air while holding a crossbow.
I wonder if he got paid for doing his own stunts.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, assistant dude shoots an arrow at them, one of which lands in a tree in front of Phoebe, and another gets frozen by Piper.
Well, more importantly, it lands in a tree in front of Phoebe as Phoebe shoves the wolf girl in, like, behind the tree.
Yeah. It barely misses them. Assistant dude asks where Chris is. Prue uses her power. He goes flying, and the arrow that Piper froze unfreezes and flies into the tree between Prue and Piper. Now, why it unfroze...
And I would like to point out that earlier in the episode, when Owl Dude was attacking Boss Guy tells him that assistant rarely misses.
Yeah.
He missed twice here.
But did he? Or is he stormtroopering it? Because he doesn't want them...
Okay, first of all, the first thing ever said about stormtroopers in the Star Wars universe is that they are, and I quote, precise.
But
which
that's
is
my
fucking
point.
Hilarious.
But that's my point. Do you not know the Star Wars conspiracy theory there?
What is...
The conspiracy theory with the stormtroopers, because Leia says at some point that was too easy, and Han, of course, is like, how was that easy? But it's because the stormtroopers were told to miss. The stormtroopers were told not to actually shoot them. That is the headcanon conspiracy theory, and it works.
I just think it's fucking hilarious because, like, the first mention of stormtroopers is from Obi-Wan, and it's where they're at the site where all the Jawas were killed, at their, like, big, rolly tank thing. And he's like, only Imperial stormtroopers are this precise. And then, now watching it, you just kind of chuckle.
But that's why
Because the whole thing about stormtroopers is that they miss.
Right, but
they
that's
always fucking miss. It's just statistically hilarious.
But that's what I'm saying, is the headcanon conspiracy theory is that they were told to miss, and therefore they did. Which is why...
I think most people's headcanon just ends up being that they suck.
Well, yeah.
Because the idea
But that's why it's not a headcanon, it's a headcanon conspiracy theory.
Fair enough.
Just like Darth Jar Jar.
Oh my god, yes.
Which, can I say, had they done Darth Jar Jar...
Sith Lord.
He would have been so much better as a character and people would have actually enjoyed him. I'm just saying, throwing that out there. I know Lucas is never going to listen to this.
No.
But I just want to put that out into the ether. Anyway.
And the actor who played Jar Jar thinks that's a delightful idea.
Totally. Anyway.
And by the way, the actor is the one who came up with that dialect that Jar Jar is speaking.
Yeah.
He's the one whose idea that was. So don't blame George Lucas for that. George Lucas was just like, sure, why not?
Yeah. Misa Jar Jar Binks come for comic relief.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's why I ask if he was stormtroopering it, because he doesn't want to kill the girl because the boss dude wants the girl. He just wants the owl. So it wasn't that he was missing them and therefore he was a bad shot. It was he meant to miss them.
I can see how he wouldn't have meant to hit the girl. But these other people she's with, he wouldn't care.
Right.
So I'm saying he missed on the one that went into the tree by Piper and Prue.
No, because Piper froze that one before it hit her.
She didn't move, though. She just froze it.
She froze it and backed up a little.
Did she, though?
Yeah. She backed up just a little bit.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah.
Okay.
it doesn't really matter. It's just, the thought process of it.
But
Anyway, so bad guy runs away. The girls think
with a few leaves on his suit jacket.
Yeah. The girls think that they've done enough to earn Wolf Girl's trust.
And then we cut to all the girls entering the manor.
Yeah. Phoebe is now wearing that red leather jacket. Wolf Girl has on her blue sweater. Prue has on a red sweater that seems to match her shirt that we hadn't seen her wearing ever before.
Yep.
And Piper is taking off her white jacket as they walk in.
Must have been in the car.
Yeah. So here's my question once again. They walked around outside in the cold in October for 3+ hours, not wearing their jackets, and they put them on to walk into the house. I am confused by this.
Shooting order.
It just
there's no
doesn't make sense.
There's no in-universe explanation for that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's just the shooting order.
Yeah. So one of them, I want to say it was Piper, but I honestly can't remember. One of them jokes that she's seen this in a movie somewhere.
I think it was Phoebe.
Was it?
I think it was Phoebe.
Okay, that would actually make a little more sense.
Phoebe's the film hound.
Yeah. But so the reference that they're making is to the 1985 movie Lady Hawk. However, in that movie, the girl turns into a hawk during the day and the man turns into a wolf at night. Hence the title Lady Hawk, because the girl turns into the hawk.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I got that.
I will link to the IMDb and the wiki pages for anyone who wants to learn about how Michelle Pfeiffer and Rutger Hauer were supposed to have sexual chemistry.
No.
I just can't picture it. But you also have to remember, 1985, they were both much younger. He has not aged well.
She has.
She has.
She very much has.
Yeah. And
God
if
damn,
and it's one of those where I
Pfeiffer.
don't know if she's had plastic surgery, but if she has,
It's extremely subtle.
It's extremely subtle, and her doctor was very, very good.
Uh-huh.
Unlike some
I don't
women
think
in
she
Hollywood.
has, though, because
I don't think
she's
she has
getting a
either.
little bit of jowls.
Yeah, I don't think she has. I think she just has really, really good genetics.
Oh, God, yeah.
But
A great makeup artist.
yeah. So Phoebe says that she's going to go check the Book of Shadows again now that they know more about this curse. And Prue takes Wolf Girl into the kitchen to get some food. And we have a small moment when Phoebe and Piper at the stairs where essentially Piper says that unless both Prue and Phoebe approve of the rutabaga, that she's not going to go through with it.
And this does not make Phoebe happy, but it's not making Piper happy, so Piper heads to the kitchen and Phoebe goes upstairs.
Yeah. It's an interesting moment of Phoebe telling Piper her concerns and Piper listening and saying, okay, fine, if you don't want this, it won't happen. That sort of thing. And it sets up for things later.
Yeah.
So we cut over to the kitchen where Wolf Girl is reading a note left on the fridge from Piper where she was saying that she wouldn't be home for dinner. And she says that she and Chris used to leave letters for each other, but after a while the letter stopped. And she goes over to the window and she seems kind of sullen. And then we see the owl land on a chair outside.
On the lawn.
Like, it's in the backyard.
Yeah. On the lawn.
Yeah. But, like, this owl, in full daylight...
First of all, it's a different type of owl.
Owls are nocturnal.
Also, it's a different type of owl, I'm pretty sure.
Well, there's only 2 types of owls. Technically. Like, there's 2, like, main groups, and then there are subgroups within those main groups.
Yes, and I'm saying that this is a different owl species.
Yeah.
From the owl that we see at the beginning. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because the owl we see at the beginning is closer to a barn owl, like a juvenile barn owl. And this looks more like, not a screech owl, but like, it doesn't look like a barn owl at all.
I don't know. Anyway, so we get Piper also being all sullen, and then they all realize that they need to all help each other to fix this curse issue, and that there's still time to figure out the rutabaga issue. And then Wolf Girl goes out the back door, and it looks like they just let her leave. Like, because we cut to an exterior shot of the same building that we saw before. So we leave them. We assume that she's going out into the backyard to go talk to the owl. But it was just that little moment of, like, it looks like she's just leaving the house and they're letting her go.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because the way that it cuts. But so, we cut to this exterior shot of the same building as before, but it's a reverse shot in daytime. It is literally the same building, but the image is reversed. Because we are seeing it from the same vantage point, from the ground, and now the light pole that we saw before, the stoplight pole that we saw before, is now on the left side of the screen. And the building itself is reversed. And it just makes me wonder how nobody caught that. Or how nobody cared.
Again, this is the consistent thing with their continuity people.
I know.
No one seems to care. No one seems to notice.
it's painful.
I know exactly what you would do if you could time travel. You would go back into shows like this and hire yourself as a continuity editor.
Possibly.
Yeah, you would.
Depending on how much they get paid. But yeah.
You would do it, though.
Yeah. It drives me just a little bit nuts. Because there's literally no reason.
There isn't. I mean,
like,
budget, time, but...
Well, no.
Those aren't excuses.
Well, no, because they have one shot. Yes, albeit it's a night shot and this one's a day shot. But why is one flipped? Like, why would you...
I don't know.
It's so... it hurts my brain. I'm sorry.
I know.
Let's continue. So, Boss Man is sitting at his desk. We never actually get a name for him.
We really don't.
So
but we don't need to.
Yeah, we just keep calling him Boss Man. The assistant dude shows up with a blood-soaked bag.
Blood-soaked. It's a little canvas bag, and there's like a spot of blood on the bottom.
Well, it was a big spot, though. It was like
it was a large spot, but like the entire thing wasn't soaked.
Yeah, no, like the entire bottom corner is soaked in blood. Bossman says that this guy is either stupid or lying, because if he had killed Chris, then there'd be a dead human instead of a dead owl. The assistant said that Chris had the help of witches. Bossman gets mad, and he kills the assistant, who is engulfed in flames and turns into a pile of ash on the floor.
And the boss man kind of leans, he's sitting on his desk, and he leans back and presses a button on his phone to activate the intercom, and he calls for a cleanup on aisle 2, which kind of echoes.
Yeah, it was very weird. And then another assistant appears wearing the exact same suit as the last guy.
And he, again, appears a puff of black smoke. And he's taller, and he has more of a beard rather than just a soul patch. And his hair, instead of plastered on his forehead, is kind of spiked up.
Yeah.
But, like, not 90s spiked up, like, just kind of like he put some gel in and just went... Pwah.
Yes. That's the technical term.
Pwah. Pwah.
Yeah. So, this assistant dude is played by Keith Allen.
That's Ian, not Ian.
Indeed. His first acting gig was in 1990, and his next one was in 2000. So he took a decade off from his first gig. This episode was his 4th ever acting gig, and then he went on to do many, many single episodes of TV shows. But he got his big break in 2014 with a show called Z Nation, where he plays the character of Murphy.
That's a zombie show, isn't it?
Yep.
Of course it is. Anything with Z something, that's a zombie show.
It is a show where I keep meaning to watch it, and I just keep, like...
forgetting?
No, I keep putting it off because I have other things that I'm already trying to watch and trying to catch up. But I will eventually get to it. It is on my list of stuff to see.
Yes. You and I have long lists of things we need to watch.
Yeah, but, we've committed ourselves to watching Charmed for the next few years, so...
Well, not only Charmed.
Well, yeah, but, I'm the one that takes all the notes, so I have to be able to pay attention to the thing.
True.
Yeah.
But anyway, Boss Man tells this new assistant that he's been promoted, and this dude who's been holding kind of this oily little, like, smile, like this kiss-ass oily smile, nods, but as he nods and kind of, like, preens himself, he happens to look down and he spots this pile of ash, and it kind of makes his face fall for a second before he, like, looks back up and he's like, oh, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, he kind of smiles uncomfortably, and it was
a really cute moment.
It was very nicely done.
Yeah.
I will give him that. It was very, very nicely done. Because he doesn't say a single word in this scene. Like, it was all facial expression and eye movement, and it was lovely.
Yeah.
And then, in one of the cooler transition shots that we've ever had in this show, Boss Man turns his computer monitor toward himself, and he waves his hand over the computer. And we were shown a shot of the Halliwell Manor that's kind of like fuzzy, and we push into the image on the screen, and then it transitions into us actually being there.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a really cool transition shot. I enjoyed that one a lot, actually.
Matrix.
Yeah. The image then pans down to the door, and then we jump to the owl sitting on the chair in the backyard. Wolf Squirrel walks over to the owl, and Prue and Piper are following her.
And we get the exposition that she got a job working for Creepy Boss Man, and then when she rejected him, he cursed her.
Yeah, if I can't have you, no one will. That sort of
the kind of shit you can't take to HR.
Yeah. So we learned that the curse would stay, quote, until there was a night within a day, unquote, or until she gives in. Once again, the girls are a little slow on the uptake here because we already know where this is going, but nobody else seems to.
Really don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wolf Girl blames herself for her lover being punished, and the girls tell her a sweet little white lie that Chris told them that he doesn't blame her and he just needs to know that she's not going to give up.
Yeah, like, your strength was one of the things that made him fall in love with you. That sort of thing. Like, all of these things where Wolf Girl is staring longingly at the owl that she is holding, being like, he said all of that? Really? Like, it was one of those where in any other show it would have been odd, and in this one it was just sweet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, since we can't stay in one place too long, we cut to the attic, where Phoebe is looking through the Book of Shadows.
And she's doing a variation on Ice Cream, You Scream. Mm-hmm. Where she's like, I curse you, you curse me, we all do a little cursing.
Yeah.
Do a little cursing.
Yeah.
And then the pages of the book start flipping by themselves, and she kind of steps back, and it ends up stopping on the hand fasting spell.
Right.
And she just kind of exclaims out loud, like, no.
Yeah, she's like, I was asking for a specific thing, and we hear Grams' voice come in.
And Phoebe's got this great little look where she's kind of frowning. She's like, I know that voice.
Yeah.
And then we get a very translucent Grams.
Yep, we get a lovely little spirit imagery of Grams. She's wearing a purple dress and some beaded jewelry. It's a lovely beaded jewelry set, where it was earrings, a necklace, a ring, I believe, and a bracelet that all matched. It was very matchy-matchy.
Oh, Grams loves to match.
Yeah. And it was very...
It's very
It's a very like 70s style of jewelry, too. The beads that she was wearing. But Graham says that she's there to give some guidance on Piper's situation. You know, the whole rutabaga thing. Which, of course, worries Phoebe because she's like, you know, if you know, then they know.
Wait, hang on. Is this the first time we've seen Grams in spirit form?
No. Technically, this is either the second or the third. Because the first time was when they first learned that Grams was the one doing the whooshy of the pages. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
she doesn't really look any older than she did when they went back to the 70s.
Yeah. No.
It's really funny because, you know,
but hair dye is a beautiful thing.
this becomes a thing where you occasionally see spirit Grams, and well, the actress ages because real life.
Yep.
And occasionally she dyes her hair, and I'm just like, what would be the in-universe explanation for that? Like, does she go to the like heavenly hairdresser?
Possibly.
Does she sit under one of those blow dryer thingies?
Possibly.
Or does a Cupid fan her head?
Who knows? Anyway, Phoebe is worried because if Grams knows, then they must know.
And then we're fine.
Yeah. But Graham says that
she kind of stares her down, too, because she's like, you were about to say a bad word. And Phoebe's just like, call me on it.
Yeah. Graham says that she is beyond them now, which was one of those phrases where you're just like, all right, whatever the hell that means. Sure.
They're small town.
Yeah. And she says that the secret is safe with her. Grams asks Phoebe to give her the lowdown on the issues that she's having, and Phoebe tells her that she's worried that something bad is going to happen to Piper, but that also something bad might happen to her and Prue if Piper goes through with the whole rutabaga thing, because they would be selfish by association.
Mm-hmm. There's a little more back and forth, and we learn that Grams was married 4 times, but never found true love.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, being a powerful witch doesn't keep a girl warm at night.
Yep. Graham says that Piper will know when it is time to make it official,
and then
that she'll feel it.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then, of course, Prue calls for Phoebe from downstairs. So Graham disappears in her little white
balls
light
of white light. Yeah,
not blue like a white lighter. Like these are the little puffy white balls that we've seen before.
Yeah. And Phoebe thanks her, and then we cut downstairs where our second assistant dude is chasing the girls around the house with a crossbow. Piper gets stuck against the wall with 2 arrows stuck in those sleeves. Thank goodness they were bell sleeves.
I know, right?
You know. Phoebe walks down the stairs. He shoots an arrow near her, making her gasp. Prue then uses her power, and he crashes into the cupboard where...
It was that wardrobe.
Yeah, where they had the photography stuff in the thing, which makes our furniture annihilation quotient 1 for the season and 27 for the series.
Mm-hmm.
Indubitably.
So Prue and Phoebe pull the arrows out of the sleeves of Piper that are holding her to the wall.
Yeah, and they realize that this dude isn't trying to kill them, which is why I say he's stormtroopering it. He is not meant to kill them. Because he is meant to kill the owl. Mm-hmm. He asks, and he tells them that he just wants the bird, and he asks where the bird is.
And at this point, we hear a no from off screen, and Wolf Girl walks into the room. So naturally, the assistant points the crossbow at her, and we get a sequence of shots where everything was slowed in post.
Yeah, everything kind of gets slowed down.
Fortunately, it's not interspersed with any shots that were shot slow, so it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, it was a nice cinematic moment where the owl flies in front of Wolf Girl just as the assistant dude shoots his crossbow, and for some reason it hits the owl, because that's a thing that happens. Prue uses her power to make one arrow that was already flying.
She, picked it up or something. I think she probably picked it up off the floor and we just see it floating.
Yeah, and, she makes it fly with the flick of a finger, fly into the assistant dude. He disappears into a puff of smoke and flame, and then the girls run over to the Wolf Girl, who picks up the owl.
And this is a great example of how owls are fluffy because of feathers.
Yeah.
So it's very clear that she is holding an owl, and she is holding the arrow under his feathers.
Yeah.
It
is very clear that the arrow is not through the owl.
The miming where you stick an arrow under your arm and pretend to have been shot through the chest.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very childy.
It was cute, though. It worked. And she's, talking softly to the owl of, oh no, my love, that sort of thing. And we go to commercial break.
Yeah.
And when we come back, everyone is sitting on the couch with the Wolf Girl holding the owl wrapped in a blue towel, which is
swaddled.
Which is possibly the same towel that Chris was wrapping himself in earlier.
And I'm who did they hire?
There's a nice little continuity in that.
Who did they hire to do the owl handling here? Because it's a real
owl, yeah.
And it's a very well-trained little owl, and they swaddle it so they don't have to deal with having visible gloves, because owl talons are nothing to joke about.
Yeah.
Even baby owls.
Yeah, you don't want to be around that.
You get a bird that's more than, a pound, you need a glove. Mm-hmm. Because a bird that's more than a pound is going to be a huge fucking bird already.
Yeah.
Dude, cockatiels are 3 pounds. They're beautiful.
Anyway.
I will never own a large bird.
No.
No. Too loud.
Yeah, no.
I can't sleep through that.
No. Anyway. The girls are trying to reassure our Wolf Girl that everything will be okay. Prue mentions that they can fix him. And then Piper is but maybe we shouldn't, because of, she's worried about the whole rutabaga thing. But Prue reminds her that this has nothing to do with them and everything to do with an innocent.
So Piper closes her eyes and Leo orbs in before she can even say anything.
Yeah, it's she just kind of closes her eyes and thinks about him. And, it's he shows up mostly before her eyes are even completely closed.
Yeah.
Which means he was paying attention.
Yes. Apparently, they were paying attention to the vanquishing talk or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I never actually heard them say vanquishing, so...
Yeah.
And, Prue informs Wolf Girl that Leo is a healer.
Yeah.
So Leo walks over to her and the owl, and he's I can't heal animals, but he's normally a dude, so maybe this'll work?
Yeah. So he tries, but it doesn't work, and they all kind of realize at that moment that they're going to have to wait until sunset when he turns back into a human.
And at this point,
the doorbell rings. Phoebe goes to answer it.
And hey, it's Cole.
It's Cole. He holds out the bag of books to a very confused Phoebe.
And he's doing a very good, fake flustered.
Yeah.
And he kind of just, blurts out their address.
Yeah, so he says that he got their address from the receipt.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because why would your home address be on the receipt? The address of the bookstore would have been on the receipt.
I don't know.
But Phoebe doesn't seem to notice, doesn't seem to care. There's a bit of light flirting. Cole says that he actually needs the books that he bought, and she's like, oh yeah, I'll go get them. And he tries to follow her into the house.
And she makes up an excuse about her sisters having gotten into it, and the house looks like a bomb went off.
Yeah. And
so, she literally asks him to wait, closes the door, and immediately reappears with the bag.
Yeah, she was gone
so
for
fast.
less than 3 seconds. It was like the bag must have been sitting on the table right next to the door.
It might have been in that nook with the bench.
Yeah, like the bag had to have been right there. So she hands in the books. They make some small talk.
And then Leo walks up behind her.
And he asks if everything is okay. And then Phoebe introduces Leo to Cole. Now, I could have sworn that they met in the last episode. Because wasn't Leo in the courtroom with them, with Daryl?
I don't think they introduced him, though. Like, they just walked in because previous... when they were there for, like, the actual, like, hearing or whatnot, or arraignment, I guess, I don't think Leo was there, was he? It was just them and Daryl.
That's what I don't remember.
I think that, and then later when they came in at night, during night court, Leo was with them, and he was just sitting with Daryl, so I don't think there was an opportunity for them to introduce him.
Okay. Yeah, I remember them being there, and Leo sitting next to Daryl in the witness box. Mm-hmm. Which is why this little moment... was a little weird to me. But I guess if they didn't actually, like...
No, wait, hang on. No, because I remember now. Because Prue and Phoebe were the witnesses. Piper wasn't back yet.
Right, for the first time. But
yes,
the second time she was.
So then, yes.
And that's what I'm saying. And Leo was there the second time.
Yes, but they just walked in that time. It was already going on. They just walked in. Cole was already in the middle of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It
because the second time was for when he had been attacked, not...
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It was just a thought that went through my brain, whatever.
Yeah, so Leo definitely wasn't there the first time, and the second time they all just walked in.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyway. So, Phoebe introduces Leo to Cole.
And they shake hands, and then...
Cole
pulls back and he looks down at his hand and we see this like white blue
sparkle on his hand.
And he just kind of looks at it.
Closes his palm.
Yeah.
And he says that he has to leave. And so Leo and Phoebe go back inside. And as Cole walks down the stairs, he puts the bag of books down, gets a handkerchief out of his jacket pocket, wipes his hand off saying that white lighters were always messy.
Yeah. Kind of like... I've got to wipe hands because I shook hands with a really sweaty person.
Yeah.
Type of like frustration.
And then
there's a shot looking down on him as he's standing on like the landing from the front stairs to the street.
Yeah, and we get one of the one time where I legit was like, okay, I kind of enjoy the shit that is Cole right now. Because he looks down at his shadow, yells at it, report this.
And the shadow kind of slinks off.
But the shadow bends down to pick up the shadow of the bag.
Yeah.
Before it floats down the stairs and goes down a drain. And I just loved that.
That was great, yeah.
Like, it's one of those where, like, if the shadow had just been like, okay, boss, and just left, it would have been like, okay, whatever. But the shadow bends down to pick up the shadow of the bag. And I just lost my mind. Like, I don't know if that
was very Peter
funny
Pan
the first time. Yeah, it was a little Peter Pan. Like, I don't know if it struck me as funny the first time I watched this, but it struck me as funny now, and I think that means I've grown as a person. And I might actually be able to get through the season with Cole and not completely and utterly hate him.
Okay.
And I think I am okay with that.
That's good.
That makes me very, very happy, and
it makes me happy by extension.
Gives me less anxiety about watching this season. So, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, back in the living room, we cut in. Leo and Phoebe walk in, and they hear Piper talking with Wolf Girl. Piper is asking the girl if she ever thought that it might not be worth the risk. And as Phoebe clears her throat, Piper turns around, and Leo just starts walking outside.
Yeah, and she, of course, calls after him and runs after him, and we cut outside as he's walking down the stairs, and she follows him to the sidewalk. Like, they walk all the way down the stairs to the sidewalk, where they stand in the shadow of the trees. The trees that now have leaves. Just saying. And we get a scene where Piper tries to see things from Phoebe's point of view about them being selfish. Like, she basically tells him, you can't walk into the middle of a conversation or the end of a conversation and think you know the whole story.
Yeah.
So, let me put this out there for you. And as they walk down they do their little walk and talk. They're like kind of walking down the sidewalk toward like the edge of where their property ends. And this is when we finally get the name for the wolf girl, which is Brooke. Yeah. Piper tries to use the circumstance that's happening between Chris and Brooke as a parallel to their own relationship. because, like, you know, they had love and yet it hasn't worked out.
Yeah. And he's like, well, it's not the end yet. Have faith.
Yeah, he tells her to have faith and that, of course, he has doubts and that he understands what Chris must be feeling.
And then we hear Phoebe say something and we kind of pan up.
Over, and she's standing on the grass. Like, how
next to the stairs?
Yeah, well, she's, like, at the corner of the loft, basically. Because that's where they wound up walking to. But it's like, how they didn't hear her coming up or notice her coming up means that they were engulfed in this conversation. And,
well, also, she was walking on the grass.
Well, yeah, there is that. But so she basically tells them, you know, that everything's going to be okay. It'll all work out, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and she holds up the little blackboard, and it has written, "You have my blessing,"
written on it. Yeah, and she tells them what Graham said without actually saying that Graham's was the one that said it.
Yeah,
and when
she says it, she calls it a long distance call.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of funny because Piper is like, you know, where is this coming from? Because I believe the phrase was that logic goes out the window when love is involved.
Logic and reason go out the window when love is involved.
Yeah, there you go. So she says that she got this, you know, this long distance call with some really good advice. And then we come back into the living room.
And Brooke is still there kind of cradling the swaddled owl and telling him that she can't let him die. She, like, kisses him.
the owl.
Kisses the owl.
Which was just adorably sweet and a little odd, but
and
again,
it's a very well-trained owl.
In any other movie or TV show, it would have been weird. In this one,
I'm just happy that the owl didn't decide to, like, bite her on the lip.
Yeah. But to be fair, at this point, it could have been a fake owl and we wouldn't have known. But it did move a bit.
It moved.
So I'm assuming it was still the same owl.
Yeah, but, so she asks him for forgiveness as she lays him down on the couch.
Yeah. And then
I'm just thinking, like, okay, so they taped this owl into that towel. Towel.
Yes. I knew it.
T''owl.
There you go. And then we come back outside and we get the worst CG eclipse I could ever imagine. The shot is of a bright sun in the sky over the manor with a full moon placed over it that is just starting to eclipse it.
Yeah.
The problem is that the moon that is shown has the man in the moon face.
Yeah.
Clearly fully visible. But if the moon was that high in the sky against the sun,
the moon would be
much darker.
Boy. You would not be able to see craters on that moon.
Yeah, no, not even remotely. And I'm also fairly certain that the vision of the man in the moon craters that is shown would not have been the way that it would have looked from North America. But that's just a nitpicky, like, thing.
I don't know. I don't watch the moon that closely.
Nor do I.
Because, I mean, it is tidally locked, so we always get the same face, but...
Right. But I did look up eclipses, and therefore I was staring at moons a bunch doing the research for this. So, just saying, that's a thing. Anyway, Phoebe is looking up at the sky. Piper is asking who she talked to get this, like, you know, info. And she and Leo are coming back up the stairs, but Phoebe is, of course, distracted.
And then she turns around and blocks her face from the eclipse with the blackboard.
And I love Piper kind of was like, yeah, the distraction technique stopped working in 3rd grade. Which was just super funny. It was super cute sister moment. It was adorable.
Yeah.
And
Phoebe remembers that the eclipse
remembers
that the eclipse was happening today.
Yeah.
And she reminds Piper of what Brooke said about a night within a day. And she realizes that the curse will be broken because of the eclipse.
Yeah.
There was also a bit where she's telling Piper and Leo to look and then not to look.
Yeah, that was super cute too. She goes, look at the sun. I mean, don't look at the sun.
I mean, don't look at it.
Yeah.
And then at this point we hear a man cry out in pain from inside, and they all rush back in the living room. And Chris, who now is still in the towel, but somehow has bandages on him. Like taped bandages.
No, because the arrow is still in him.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They, like, taped a bandage under the arrow or around the arrow or something.
That I don't remember, but I was more interested in the fact that he is now naked man covered in towel at his waist.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, if it stayed around his shoulders, it wouldn't have covered his waist.
I understand that.
It's a propriety issue. They don't want the FCC getting on their asses.
Just saying. It doesn't really matter. Anyway. So he tries to sit up. He calls out for Brooke. And that's when the girls find that she left to go to see the boss man. Mm-hmm. And that's when Leo walks over to him. And he pulls out the arrow and he heals him. Oh, no, you're right. There was a bandage.
There were bandages. And it was really funny because it was a square little bandage. And it was taped around the top and the bottom, like around his body. And I'm just like, what now?
You're right. Because when Leo pulls the arrow out...
You see the red on the bandage.
You see the red on the bandage, and when he heals it, the entire bandage turns white. You are correct. But that means that they had to have bandaged the owl.
And that means it's some really stretchy tape.
Well, but that means that they had to have bandaged the owl to keep the arrow from moving in the owl. It's the only thing that makes sense at that point. Because, yeah. Anyway, so he pulls out the arrow and he heals him, and Chris, thanks him. And we learn that Brooke knows that she can end the curse by...
agreeing to be with Boss Man forever.
She can end the curse on Chris, at least, by agreeing to be with Boss Man forever. But she doesn't realize that the eclipse means that she doesn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Had she stayed around for,
30 seconds?
At least a minute more, had nobody left her alone. Why do they keep leaving people alone in their house? Just saying.
Because they're stupid.
Yeah.
Adorably, sweetly stupid.
Yeah.
Naive.
They're so trusting.
Optimistic.
And naive. Yeah. So we jump over to Boss Man's office, and he's telling 3 new flunkies, all wearing different outfits, random suits, whatever, that whoever kills the owl gets the job of assistant.
And then we hear the door open, look over, and hey, there's Brooke. Sans sweater, still in dress. And this is the point at which I'm like, that looks kind of frumpy. And not very well-fitting.
It was a sheath dress. Mm-hmm. So, there wasn't a whole lot of frump, really.
Yeah, it wasn't form-fitting. But anyway, she's like, I was hoping you would take me instead.
Yeah, and we go to commercial break, because of course we do. We come back on a shot of the boss man's office from the street, looking up to the sky, and the sun in the sky being eclipsed by that CG moon in the exact same position as it was when we last saw it, which you'd think would mean this is happening at the same time.
However, which means that office must be like down
3
the
seconds
street.
Away. Yeah.
But anyway, inside the office, Brooke and Boss Man are kind of standing next to each other, standing in front of each other, like staring at each other. And Brooke asks if he's going to kiss her and presumably get it over already.
Yeah. And I didn't put it in my notes, but I love he says something like you should know that I'm not that easy.
Wait, no, he's like, I may be cheap, but I'm not easy. And then he stops and he's like, wait, no, I am. Of course I am.
Like, yes, I am. It was hilariously funny. Because you just look at that and you go, oh, you poor dude.
Yeah.
Poor dude.
Uh-huh.
But he realizes that she's only there to save Chris, but he doesn't care, and that she'll grow to love him.
And she tries to, get an extra promise from him that Chris will never be harmed.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, my love should be enough. And I'm like, no, it fucking shouldn't.
No, that's not even...
you admitted you know why she's doing this. You can't, actually fucking promise her.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We then get a quick shot of the moon, now quickly moving, legit, in the span of a second and a half. It goes from a partial eclipse to a total eclipse.
Yep.
It completely covers the sun, and we cut back to the girls and Chris walking into this building. The girls have all put their jackets on.
And this is the point at which I'm like, hello, Bucklands.
Yeah, it absolutely was a Bucklands thing. And Chris is now in a red V-neck shirt and khaki pants.
Khaki pants.
So the question is he yet again borrowing clothes from Leo? Because these look like they actually fit him better?
I don't know. Maybe this is just a stretchier sweater?
Yeah.
Because the button-down didn't look like it had any give.
Don't know. Anyway,
as soon as they open the door, Piper freezes everyone in the corridor and they start walking through.
And it's really funny because they're walking through, and you can see Prue, trying to avoid people's arms as she's walking. It was very funny.
And, of course, the initial shot when they're all frozen is, just like a freeze frame. But as they're walking through, these people are just really good at staying still.
Yeah.
Much better than the typical people.
Yeah.
These are great extras.
Yeah, they were actually really, really, really well done.
But anyway, they get kind of halfway down the hall as they're talking about how to approach Boss Man. When Piper, stops and kind of, pokes her stomach. And
she says she feels funny.
She's like, I don't feel so good. And then she's like, wait, No, I take that back. I feel great.
Yeah, I feel all warm and fuzzy. And they're like, you know, in your stomach. She goes, no, here. And she, like, taps her chest.
Like, it's like a pat and a punch.
Yeah, like, kind of, you know, where your heart is.
Like, if you were going to pound your chest, but your palm instead, she's just like, no. Like, right there.
Yeah, she basically pats where her heart is on her chest.
And this makes Phoebe realize that, oh, this is the sign. The time is right for the rutabaga.
Yeah.
Because if we can't look up, then they can't look down. I'm like, Phoebe, you can't look up unless you're wearing glasses that you did not make.
Well, there is that.
It's like, it's not that you can't look up. Like, you could look up. The eclipse, the total eclipse, is the only time you can look up at the sun.
Yes. Indubitably.
It was just a really weird distinction.
It was a little
I know.
odd.
Is there some kind of superstition about looking up at an eclipse?
No idea. No clue.
Mm-hmm. But anyway,
Prue gets all excited, and she and Phoebe start making plans to do the hand-fasting ritual. And I love how, I believe it was Phoebe who was like, we have to go back to the house and we have to call the florist. And I'm just like, what?
You don't have time, guys.
Like, seriously?
For those of you that don't know, the actual totality of a total eclipse lasts for 3, maybe 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of time at all whatsoever.
It's really fucking not.
Yeah.
Anyway, Piper is the one who stops them and kind of solemnly reminds them that they have to go help Brooke first.
Yeah, and they try to get Piper...
Chris actually is like, Piper, I get it. You go. But they're like, no, we gotta fucking save you. Because you can't do this alone.
Yeah.
Didn't work last time. It ain't gonna work this time, bub.
Yeah. She insists on saving their relationship, and they decide that they're just going to go through the front door because that's the best option. And so we cut back to the boss's office, and he's leaning in...
Open mouth.
Like, ready to kiss Brooke, and she is, like, not leaning backwards, but she isn't moving forward.
She's just kind of, like, staring at his mouth.
There.
Staring at his mouth, waiting.
Yeah.
And he's like, seriously, his mouth is slightly open. It's really creepy looking. And I'm just like,
a little
this
weird,
dude is great acting. This is.
It was just creepy enough to be creepy.
Yes.
Yeah. So the door flies open because of Prue, and he makes a joke about them being the Girl Scouts.
And tells them to set their Thin Mints down on the table and leave before they get themselves hurt.
Yeah, it was really funny. I will, of course, link to the wiki and the website for the Girl Scouts because they're awesome and more people should know about them.
Yes, donate to Girl Scouts, buy Girl Scout cookies, do everything. Because Girl Scouts great.
Yes.
And if you see a flyer about Girl Scouts supporting Planned Parenthood
as being a bad thing.
No.
That it's not a bad thing.
It is true, and support them. I think there's some other, like, dig about Thin Mints or whatever.
Yeah, as someone who would not be alive without Planned Parenthood, I fully support them.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Bossman tells them that he doesn't fear witches. Prue questions his fear about true love.
And we pan over to see Chris walk into the doorway.
Yeah. Brooke sees him, they smile, much to the boss's dismay. And then they walk over to each other, much to the boss's anger.
So he reiterates the, if I can't have you, no one will. And we look down at his hand, and a puff of black smoke, there's a crossbow. Mm-hmm. So he lifts it, and he starts aiming, but Piper freezes him. And Phoebe asks...
wonders if anyone has a vanquish in their pocket, which was just one of my favorite phrases. I don't know why, but vanquish in your pocket is just fun to me.
Yeah, but Prue's like, no, I think we want Bossman to see this.
Yeah, like...
And so she makes the crossbow fly out of his hand just as Piper unfreezes everyone.
Yeah, and, like, Chris and Brooke kiss... And we see the boss man kind of look down at his hand like, where did my crossbow go? And then he looks up and sees them kissing. And somehow, seeing them kiss vanquishes him. Like, he starts to burn from where his heart is. And then he disappears in a burst of fire and smoke. And Chris hugs Brooke so she doesn't have to look at it. And then it turns into a happy hug. Because this is the funniest part. She kind of, like, does this, like, oh, kind of thing, and he like, cradles her face, and his face is really solemn until you cut to the other direction POV, and he's smiling. And it was just like, okay, that's great. A thing that happened.
Yeah, I'm thinking this might have been the other end of the curse, like...
Where true love's kiss breaks the curse, and...
Well, no, because the curse was obviously going to end...
When she kissed.
With the night in a day.
Oh, yeah.
Because he said that curse would end if there was either a night and a day, or you give yourself to me. And the curse is already over by this point, but maybe there was like a weird clause or something where if he can't get the object of his affections, there's feedback on him or something.
Well, because he basically said that he got magic to curse Chris so that he could get Brooke. Like that's basically where we started.
Is that what he said?
That's basically what he said, is that he got that's when we learned that they had been cursed for 2 months. Mm-hmm. Because he said that he got magic to make this happen faster, and it's already been 2 months.
Ooh, maybe that was part of the deal then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Uh-huh. Yeah, make a deal with whatever devil involved, and he's like, well, if the purpose of you having these fucking powers is for this, then, hey, if you don't get that, then you die.
Yeah.
I get your soul.
That could very well be.
But yeah, anyway, Phoebe says that she thinks she has the solution to the maid of honor issue, and Piper asks about the distinct lack of a high priestess.
Yeah, and Phoebe's like, let me worry about that.
We cut to an exterior shot of the manor to see the eclipse, which is
still going strong.
It's still in totality for some goddamn reason.
Full on in totality. And inside, we see Graham standing in the living room, and she's now in a white dress with a different jewelry set on.
Mm-hmm. And she's got like a red ribbon in one of her hands.
Right, because that is the hand fasting, is you tie a ribbon. That's the whole point of that.
She tells the girls to hurry up and then kind of flicks her hand at the CD player to close it. Guess what? Do we start hearing? Pachelbel.
Okay.
I hate Pachelbel.
I don't know what that is.
Pachelbel's canon in D. It's like the only other thing they use for weddings other than the bridal march. But yeah, I hate Pachelbel's canon. Fucking hate it. Mostly because it's boring for bases. And honestly, it's just annoying. There's a comedian who does a rant about Pachelbel, and if you haven't listened to it, you should, because it's funny.
Anyway, Grams uses telekinesis to close the CD player, and we hear the sound that usually goes with Prue's power.
Yeah. When
she does this. I don't think we ever hear that sound again from Grams.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to listen.
Yeah. It was just a thing. Like, I don't remember there ever being a sound after this. But
it turns out that, Graham still has access to her powers when she's a spirit.
Yeah, which is helpful. Cool. Yeah, it's helpful.
Which is super helpful because, like, she can't really touch physical stuff. Phoebe couldn't hug her. Somehow she's able to hold a ribbon that will presumably become physical upon contact with hands or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the hand fasting ribbon.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Who knows?
Leo is standing near her.
Yeah.
He's dressed in this suit.
He is dressed in a very, very nice suit. It's a black suit. I think it was like a white shirt and a slightly colored tie. But it was a very, very nice suit. And as the music starts, Prue and Phoebe walk down the stairs, arms linked. Phoebe is in a light pink dress with her hair pulled back into a low bun.
And it's like side parted, so she's got this sweep over her forehead.
It's very pretty. Prue is in a light blue dress with flowers. And
that's kind of like ruched at the bust.
Yeah, it was a... Both of these dresses are not uber fancy, but they're not uber casual either.
Yeah.
They're somewhere in that middle ground.
Yeah, they're like homecoming dresses, not prom dresses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That works.
Anyway, Prue's hair is down and it's kind of farrowed in the front.
Yeah, it was a little like... She had like a blowout.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's one of those where like I look at this and go... Especially with Phoebe's hair. I go, why did you take so much time on your hair?
Yes.
You did not have the time for this. You barely had time to change into the dresses you're in.
Nope.
Like, seriously. All of this is where I say the timing is insane. Because there is no way she should have just gotten married in the outfit she was in. Mm-hmm. Because the only person that I would say had... time to do anything would have been Grams and Leo, because Leo can just change an orb back and be done.
Yeah.
But and Grams is a spirit. She can change whatever she wants. But these girls, physical beings, they had to take time not only to get back to the house, then they had to change outfits, do their hair and makeup. All in the span of time that the eclipse is happening.
And call a florist, apparently.
Yeah, because
they had bouquets.
They had flowers. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. And there were a bunch of flowers, behind where they were going to get married.
Man, yeah, it just...
Anyway, Anyway,
so
the girls
they stand at the bottom of the stairs.
And then we look up to see Piper walking down.
And she is wearing a light blue dress with, like, sparkly detailing.
And kind of an illusion neckline thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
But, like, it was spaghetti straps, and then there was, like, mesh that made a higher neckline.
Yeah, it was a
Between the
very,
spaghetti
very
straps.
pretty
It was
dress.
very pretty.
It was super duper
Very
pretty.
sweet. And her hair is, like,
half up, half down, and there's, like, flowers as decoration
and there's,
in
like,
her
a
hair.
nice sweep of the grown-out bangs across her face.
And she's holding a bouquet, and Leo smiles at her, and then Piper stops at the bottom of the stairs, and there's a sweet little moment with her and her sisters before she walks over to Leo.
And they all stop, and they're getting ready for Grams to walk over and get the ribbon and shit. And Leo and Piper are staring at each other, and then there's a moment. There's a moment where you're like, this is great.
This is great. This is
beautiful.
wonderful.
And then Leo makes a noise, and his face contorts, and he's
he
like
starts
in pain.
jerking and yelling in pain.
And then there's like a bulge effect and a stretch, and he kind of orbs out as he's being bulged and stretched.
Yeah, and you can see that he's being orbed in the white lights of the orbs, and he's getting pulled upwards.
Yeah.
Because that's the way the light goes, is upwards.
Uh-huh.
And Piper then, of course, has to, has a bit of a panic attack, basically.
And she collapses on the floor.
And, like, her sisters are trying to comfort her, and they all kneel on the floor trying to comprehend what just happened.
And we see...
There's a moment with Grams.
Yeah, she kind of reaches her arms out.
Yeah, like, it was just the sweetest thing ever, where she kind of, like, reaches out, like, I want to hug you, and then she pulls her hands back going, but I can't.
Uh-huh.
And it was sweet and sad, and, like, she basically is,
and
like,
we see that
the
ribbon is also transparent because they didn't want to make that look real in post.
Yeah. And it's just... It's, that thought process of, like, we thought this was going to happen. Why doesn't this happen?
Like, what the
fuck? My God.
The eclipse is still happening.
Yeah, and you expect that at this moment, we're somehow going to leave it on a cliffhanger right there, and it's going to go to end credits. But it doesn't.
Oh, but no.
Instead...
We jump down to Cole, who's wearing a black shirt and jeans, standing in the middle of 3 men in dark red robes.
Yeah, and they have the same circled double pentacle symbol that the council had in the season 2 finale, but those robes were yellow. These ones are a dark red. And so this must be the triad that we were told about in the last episode, which is apparently different from the council because these are completely different guys. So these 3 hooded men are played by Amir.
Oh, we should mention that they all also have black eyes.
Oh, yeah,
Their
they all
eyes
have
are
black eyes.
from edge to edge.
Yeah.
Probably done in post because
absolutely
the
done in
contacts
post.
for that would be ginormous.
They do have those contacts,
I know they do,
but they are painful to wear.
Especially then they would have been super painful.
Yeah. Anyway, so the hooded men are played by Amir Abduella, Sean Taub, and Rick Overton.
Abuela.
Abuela?
Yes.
Okay. Did I put a D in there?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, Amir is from Egypt. He started acting in 1995, with one of his first jobs being a 4-episode run on The Pretender. And he was going strong until 2003. And then he took a decade break. Came back in 2013, and he's still going strong.
Coolio.
Yeah. Sean was born in Iran, but he was raised in England. And he is totally that guy because he's been acting since 1988, and he's still going strong. And he played Uncle Iroh in The Last Airbender, which is a movie we're never supposed to talk about, but I just had to put that out there.
Really? That I've checked IMDb. That thing doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. What are you talking about? What was that? No.
Exactly. Anyway, Rick was born in Queens, New York in 1954. He's literally the only one that gave me a birth date. He is also that guy because he's been acting since 1978 and is still going strong. And I recognize him as Taggart from Leverage.
Taggart.
The FBI agent.
Taggart.
Yeah.
My brain's not giving me a visual, but...
No worries.
Yeah.
Taggart.
Anyway, this is the scene where we apparently learn that Cole is the one who told the triad about the wedding, and the triad somehow got it up to them.
Yeah.
So I guess they have a bunch of people who could send messages.
Well, remember, as we found out in the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse episode... Good
Your
can call evil, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So they have a line of communication.
Good called evil, and evil answered.
Exactly. So the triad told them, and they they want Cole to gain the trust of all of the girls.
And he tells them that he's going to focus on Phoebe because she's going to be his way in.
Yeah.
And that they're well on their way to destroying the Charmed One.
Yeah, and so this is the shot that, like, this entire scene, like, legit, the last, like, 10 minutes of this episode I had completely forgotten about. Mm-hmm. So I didn't notice this before, or at least I don't remember noticing it before. But we end on a shot of Cole looking nervous.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those where...
Okay, so we occasionally get these scenes where we have evil person talking to evil people. Mm-hmm. Like when we got it with the dragon dude last season. He was very, egocentric. Bombastic. He was very bombastic about it.
Yeah.
And he was very forceful and aggressive sounding and,
he was basically...
performative. That's the word.
Yeah, he was basically sitting there going, like, I only need you because I need you.
Yeah.
I could do this on my own, but I'm coming to you for help anyway.
Yeah, he was putting on a performance to show that he was capable.
Right.
And Cole here, when they tell him that others have failed, he just very casually states, well, others weren't me.
Yeah. But it's in that moment where again, we end
He's
on
very
this...
understated.
Yeah, but we end on this shot...
Because he wasn't wearing a leather jacket.
Well... Yeah. But we end on this shot of him looking nervous when it's the we're going to destroy the Charmed Ones. And it's that kind of look on his face where it gives that moment of doubt of, do I really want to be doing this? Mm-hmm.
And so it's great because you don't know like why he's nervous exactly. Mm-hmm. Like what about this is making him nervous? Is it that he's up against the Charmed Ones? Because he's been pretty casual about it, like when he's been up top.
Yeah,
and like the whole crack about white lighters being messy, I thought was funny.
Yeah,
and like he knows how to deal with white lighters. He finds them annoying. He's very casual about the witches. He doesn't care. He doesn't seem to be worried that they'll notice him doing magic around them.
Yeah, because
he's not worried about them noticing.
Yeah.
But somehow when he's down with the triad talking about the situation, he's nervous. And it's really interesting because you don't know why.
Yeah, it's super, super weird. And it's something that I didn't notice. And it was this moment where I legit was just like, okay, I think I might be able to see Cole from a different point of view than I originally did. And he might not annoy me nearly as much as he did the first time I watched this. And that makes me very, very happy and very, very hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah. But so we end with him looking nervous and we go to the end credits. And that's the episode.
Indeed.
Indubitably.
Mm-hmm.
Which means we are on to our ratings portion of the day.
Okay. You go first.
I am giving this episode an 8 out of 10 rutabagas. Because, of course, I am.
Uh-huh. I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10 books.
Books. So, with our ratings done, we're on to outfits.
Oh god, the last ones.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, immediately I was like, totally the rutabaga outfits.
Uh-huh.
There was no question.
I do love Piper's bell sleeves throughout the episode. Those are great.
I do.
And honestly, I really like Prue's shirt.
Yeah, like, I enjoyed the outfits that they wore throughout the entire episode, but my favorite outfits have got to be those dresses at the end. They're just too pretty. Especially Piper's. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just too pretty. There's no question at all that those are the right ones. So, with our outfits done, our ratings done, we are on to social media.
Social media time.
Yay! So, as per always, you can find us on charmchats.com, and I'm sure that you have realized by now that not only is the episode coming out on charmchats.com on Sunday, but it's also going up on iTunes on Sunday.
Woot woot.
You're welcome.
No more delay.
No more delay.
Get it right away.
Indubitably.
Indubitably.
So I hope that everyone is enjoying that, and you're welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Yay!
This will hopefully be the way that it will go from now on. We're keeping the bi-weekly format, though, because otherwise I would
sanity
go crazy. Yeah. You can email us at charmchats@gmail.com with any questions, comments, or queries.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to talk to us about the Giving Tree, go for it.
Yeah. We are also on Twitter and Tumblr at CharmChatsPod.
Indeed.
We are on Instagram as CharmChats.
Mm-hmm. We are on Facebook as well as Patreon as Charm Chats.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really about it. We don't use the Pinterest anymore.
We really don't.
And I apologize to anyone who followed us on Snapchat.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing that because Instagram is just easier.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had Snapchat on my
iPad.
I don't have that iPad anymore. So that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, if you want to follow my personal Snapchat, you can.
Yeah.
Because I put up snaps of the dogs that I walk during the week.
Yes,
so
you do.
If you want to do that, go ahead and tweet me, and I will send you my Snapchat code.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing. But yeah, I think that's just about everything.
Just
I'm
about.
fairly certain.
Yeah.
So until next time,
Sleep tight. Don't let the warlocks fight.
bye.
Bye.
Phoebe, Piper, and Prue, they've got evil to slay and some potions to brew. So we'll see where it's at next time with Kendra and Kat on Charm.